Hi, and welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, and it seems like it has been a long time since I have done a Thursday with a Friend, considering, well, leading up to this, about 3 weeks ago, I had finished up doing the drive to Joe Fest. And let's just say those were great, getting to talk to a lot of people that I got to see at Joe Fest. But it's time to get back to your regularly scheduled program with Thursday with a Friend. And this guy here, I have talked about. I've talked to him a few times. He is doing a Kickstarter that is successful. He did one first that unfortunately didn't fund, but this one now is fully funded. So he sent me some stuff a while back. Unfortunately, I don't have it. It's all downstairs right now. I did tell him, I'm like, I can't open it because it's on this really nice thick card, and it's different than a regular figure because it was the prototypes and everything. But anyway, I talked to him at Joe Fest. I saw him at Assembly Required. I saw him at Joe Fest the year before. But anyway, let's not waste any more time. My special, special guest, Carlos from Rise of Nexus. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I am great. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time, and congratulations on the Kickstarter. I know you've already you went through it once. It wasn't successful. I don't want to say failed because again, it's one of those things where you have to get your name out there. You get the product out there. Uh, and there's a lot of Kickstarters that are out there, and so you do have to watch where everything is going. But I'm very happy that this time it's successful.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's been a long journey to get to this point, but yeah, I'm happy. So happy we're funded and yeah, we still got some time left on the campaign and hoping to unlock some cool stretch goals. Yeah, and then the work begins pretty much. you know.
Yeah, we are definitely going to get into a little bit long, a little bit, and we'll get into your life here. But if I was reading it correctly, it looks like you're hoping to have stuff out by the end of the year. Was that the actual?
So the plan is 2020, end of 2027.
Okay, maybe I
Um,
read.
but definitely like the comic and things like that will
Okay.
probably be ready by the end of the year. Anything like the trading cards and some of the add-ons that we're offering. But yeah, so yeah, December 2027. Really, we're saying 2 years, so it might
Maybe
be.
I read it wrong. I've been living in 2027,
It's
waiting
okay.
for
Yeah,
Joe Fest 2027 and everything to
that's
kick in. Where I'm like,
yeah,
and my
yeah.
my moderator action figure is already here. I know we've already been like, I'm ready for 2027.
Yeah, 20. I mean, it's kind of like I kind of did like when you go buy something, it's 9.99, but really it's $10. So December 2027 is practically
Yeah,
2028. But yeah,
it seems like it's already
that's
here.
that's why it throws you off. But yeah, it does feel like it's already here. Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about you before we get into it. And let me just start off. Do you mind me asking how old you are and what area did you grow up in?
So I'm 48. I was born in Venezuela, but I moved to the United States when I was just about to turn 7. And we moved to Miami, Florida, and that's mostly where I spent most of my life. Um, yeah, I'm growing up there till about maybe 8 years ago. Moved to Tallahassee, Florida.
I went to Miami once for work, and
Okay.
I'd say I didn't really get to experience Miami, but I can say we flew in there and just driving to where I had to go. What a beautiful city
Yeah,
in
yeah,
many ways.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Miami. I grew up there, but I couldn't deal with all the traffic and all the people, and it's expensive but yeah, when you're visiting, when you're a tourist, when you're just there, it's like yeah, it's amazing. It's like, well, I'm in paradise. It's like a different world, compared to
I,
those.
I I can't even say that I was visiting. I wasn't even a tourist. I was down there for work. I
Yeah.
got brought down with the owner of the company, and I had nothing to do because what I would have had to do, um, what I would have had to do, it was already done. So I literally
Yeah.
just sat there for like 2 or 3 days, with him. What I remember is we flew down and we met another programmer, and programmers are really weird. And I remember walking into the hotel and I was like, there is no way the owner is going to stay here. And he was like, this is where you're staying. He's like, all right. And moved us to like really nice hotel right on the ocean.
That's awesome.
I was like, he's not staying here. I'm not staying here. All right. And I'm basically a kid with, no money. Like I would find my own place. Like, how were you here for a week?
I mean, as long as you tried the food while you were down there, hopefully you didn't miss out on any of that. All the Cuban food.
Again, this was one of those like you're there, a couple hamburgers, nothing, nothing special. I can say that. And it was so long ago. I remember it was around Christmas time, and I was probably 21, 22, roughly around that. And I just remember seeing palm trees with Christmas lights, and I was like, that's just wrong. I'm from the Detroit area.
Yeah.
We have pine trees, right? Those are Christmas trees. And we have other trees but like when you see palm trees and there's like that, and there's no snow around. All right. Like the closest thing that you have to snow is that sandy white, the white beaches. Like that's the closest thing looking to snow. That's what I remember thinking. Palm trees with lights is just wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it is Miami. There's a whole different snow.
Yeah.
But,
we all saw Miami Vice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was that. Yeah. I grew up on Miami Beach, so I saw a lot of weird stuff growing up there. But yeah, man, it's Miami's beautiful. It's definitely.
You're saying your snow is different than the snow that I got up here in Michigan.
It's totally different. Yeah, it's totally different. It's imported. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, some of us got imported from Canada, so there's right now we're getting that fire imported from us. It's bad out here. Like you can't. Like you go outside, it smells like someone has been just like burning a bonfire for days.
Damn, yeah. I think we were looking at the sky. The sun was going down, and it was like bright red and yellow. And I was wondering if that had anything to do with the fires. Because I mean, I know it's far away, but the way the sky looked, it just looked like it was.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I know people. They were like yesterday. They were showing the Mackinac Bridge, which is the bridge that connects the Lower and Upper Peninsula. And they're like people you couldn't see like 20 feet in front of you. Now that's 4 hours north of me. I went out and I had to do some work for the association, and I came in. Then I had to run out and get food for my son's birthday, and all of a sudden it was like this haze, and I thought there was a fire. And his mom was like, "Oh no, those are the Canadian wildfires." What are you talking about? I mean, I know Canada's like right across the border; it's not far, right. But yeah, I'm not paying attention. I don't care about news. All right, so you're born in Venezuela. You move here. You're right in that prime age of toys.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You're in that prime age of toys. So, what's the first toy that you remember as a kid actually playing with? Not what you fell in love with, but is there anything that you remember?
Yeah. One of my earliest memories of playing with toys, and not like even because I mean. So I have an uncle who's 10 years older than me, and he had like all the Star Wars toys. And, by the time I was born, by the time I was a year old, it's like 78, 79. So there's pictures of me like chewing on Darth Vader's foot, like like that. But the toy that I remember really enjoying and really like my first toy was a Tommy. It was a Tommy like dirt bike that had a zip pull like kind of string. And then the guy, like the little guy, you could kind of pose him like, if you like, I think it was just his arms that moved. But man, I played with that thing for hours, dude. And it was, I want to say that the wheel was die cast. It was like a die cast wheel. Like if you threw it at somebody, you'd hurt them. But, man, I love that thing. And I've looked for it. I've seen it online. Like brand new, and it's really not a lot of money, but I don't know. I feel like I can find it for less. It was such a fun toy, man. It's just like for hours, just ripping on that pull cord, that rip cord.
Those are
watching that.
little things that you remember, like
Yeah.
Stompers, obviously
Mhm.
Matchbox, Hot
Yeah.
Wheels.
Yeah.
We always talk about the adventure people. That seems like
Yes.
in our
Yeah.
age range,
Mhm.
uh, that people would see. But all those zip ties, like those zip ones, were,
Yeah.
and they didn't break. That zip was,
Oh yeah.
that was a thick piece
It
of
was thick,
plastic,
man. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you were gonna wear out the gears on the actual whatever device it was before you
Yeah.
were gonna wear out that plastic, those
Oh
plastic
yeah.
teeth, right?
Yeah.
And you try as hard as you can. Like, it's probably why there's been so many, rotator cuff issues over the years.
Some kids just ripping on that thing. Beyblades and stuff. Beyblade injuries.
Let's say hi to everyone really quick here. We have Brick Something, who was in early, said, "Hey, I'm not currently a 1/18th collector, but Rise of Nexus is excellent, clever stuff. Congrats on the successful second go. What's up, Punk? Brick, great to see you. We got US Combat Dojo. We have SCS Dog is here. Beardy make a Beardison. We have Action Figs, one of my moderators jumping in here. Patrick Stockel jumping in here. I totally missed Lego Star Wars Kids saying, "Are we live? Hello, all." Uh, Possibly we were at this time. Todd White is here. We got Menhuza. And to all you people, remember it is Menhuza, not Menjoza. These people do not know their own names, and people are completely obliterating names. It is not me. We got Cyber63 joining us. And I know we have a few more that probably have not said anything. So, um, what is this? Cyber63 says, excellent question. My first was a Grandizer robot. It was my first toy that I vividly remember that wasn't Matchbox or Green Army Men. Green Army Men. Did you have Green Army Men, or
Oh,
there was Army Men? Then you had the great German soldiers.
yeah.
Talk about being racist without knowing what was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, these are the bad guys. Like,
Yeah.
wow, man, Vietnam, World War II was over for quite some time.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna let you guys forget that one.
I remember having a cowboy set too. It was like
Oh,
Indians. Yeah, those were fun.
the little cowboys and the Indians,
Yeah.
and that's what they were called back then.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah. That
um,
was the name back then.
I talk about that. I love the Army men because if one broke, you weren't going to cry about it. It
Mhm.
seemed like you were always getting another bag of Army men.
Yeah.
You didn't have to sit there and fight to stand them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
laid down. And they were always the same one. You had the guy
Yeah.
with the M16, the guy crawling with the M16, the M60 guy, the
Yeah.
bazooka guy, the
Mortar.
radio guy that no one liked because he wasn't doing anything.
Yes, there was always one that I hated. I was just like, I hate this. Yeah. It's like this guy's dumb.
The one crawling, and it's like he doesn't do anything. But
Yeah.
then you have the radio guy, but you needed the radio guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were always just so much fun. Like, again, so easy, and you'd have 100 of them, and if you lost one, well, you didn't even realize it. You did realize the tanks were not to scale.
Yes,
The
exactly.
scale,
Yeah.
this tank
Yeah.
is really small.
Yeah.
So now, do you remember that from Venezuela, or do you remember that when you were here?
Yeah, no, that was definitely from Venezuela. That was yeah, a lot of so Venezuela we didn't have like the cartoons that they had up here. We had a lot of anime, a lot of Mazinger Z, Speed Racer, um uh stuff like that. And there are a lot of bootleg stuff, or not even bootleg, but a lot of stuff that just came from Japan. But I remember having like little bootleg robots, or there's the one it looks like Mazinger and his fists shoot out. I don't know, it was like kind of almost 3 and 3/4 or 3 inch die cast. I think that one was cool too. I had a lot of toys, and I think also being the firstborn, my family that was living here in the U.S., they would just send me stuff, like it's the firstborn, so let's spoil him.
So before you moved here, did you guys already have family here, or?
Yeah, 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 yeah. My dad's side of the family moved here, so he has two sisters and two brothers. His mom and his dad, they all had moved here like early '80s. Um, and then when we moved up here, we stayed with them. It was just me and my dad moved up here first. Um, And yeah, we just got all settled into one apart like a two-bedroom apartment, made it work for a bit for a few months.
So you moved up here with just your dad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and it sounds like you had siblings, correct?
No, no siblings. No, I was an only child till I was about 13 years old. Yeah, my
So you,
mom. So the reason my mom didn't come was because she had a miscarriage. Like kind of like though that same week we were supposed to move up here.
oh wow.
Yeah, so she stayed back. She just stayed back, I guess, just to yeah, I guess it was just too much. I don't remember exactly what the plan was. I remember thinking that she was gonna come with us, and then kind of like last minute when she came back from the hospital, I remember just kind of saying bye. And then yeah, just being me and my dad, but really not. I don't know, being 6 or 7, not really remembering, just kind of just being excited to
So
I don't know, see a new country, I guess.
so,
And
so during this interview, are you gonna end up realizing that your dad stole you and this is gonna come out now? Or
yeah,
did your mom finally come up?
yeah, she found them. She came up there and found them. Yeah. I had no, yeah, I'm sure that's come to mind at some point in my life, but no, no.
I've had a few times where I've had people on and we're just discussing things and something will be like, they'll be like, wow, I never really dawned on me that this is what was happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nothing
me,
like that. I don't think anyone was kidnapped
yeah,
like or realized they were kidnapped during the show.
yeah, yeah,
That's one thing that I don't think we've ever actually that I've ever had come up. We've had lots of interesting things come up during the show. I don't think
yeah.
anyone's ever told me they've had a kidnapping, and I'm actually okay with that. To be 100% honest.
I mean, yeah, no kidnapping. I mean, I don't know. I do remember walking home from school once, and some guy, like had stopped, like he stopped me. I mean, this was growing up in Miami Beach too. And he was like asking me to get in the car, and I just remember freaking out and just running as fast as I could. I think I must have been like 13 or 14 at the time, but yeah,
And
no.
well, yeah, you would have grown up because I can remember. I've talked about this before. I can remember the story of Adam.
Uh-huh.
I mean, everyone knows John Walsh. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people forget that
yeah.
John Walsh from America's Most Wanted.
Hmm.
John Walsh is John Walsh because of his son being kidnapped and everything. And I
Yeah,
can remember like my mom and dad would leave me in the toy aisle of Kmart and go do their thing. And
yeah,
after
yeah, yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
I remember my mom making me watch it.
yeah.
And the thing that I remember most is one of the last places you see the kid that plays Adam, the end cap is G.I. Joe. And my
Oh,
mom's like, that's not what this is about.
are you telling me you're gonna get me GI Joe's, mom?
Mendoza says, or was it a small wonder episode?
Yeah.
But yeah. Look, Mr. Wonderful saying, dude, I'm pumped for this Kickstarter. Let's go, Carlos.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
So you move up here. What's the first toy line, toy property that you remember falling in love with?
So, I mean, GI Joe, really. That was so. I mean, I've told this story before, but literally, when I got off the plane, my grandparents and my uncles were waiting for me, and they took us to BK, like after the airport, and then Lionel Play World, which I don't know if those existed up north. They're basically like a Toys R Us, like a big box Toys R Us store.
Never
Um,
heard of it.
yeah, and they
You say Lionel, I think of Lionel trains.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they're related. They might be. I wasn't ever, I remember the Lionel trains, but this was called Lionel Play World, and it was just like a Toys R Us basically. And I want to say it closed down maybe in the 90s, but yeah, that my first day in the United States. My uncles take me there, and just remember being blown away, and I remember seeing a GI Joe end cap, and just being like, what is this? Like, just being because I mean, I had Star Wars figures and stuff like that, but I'd never seen a GI Joe before, and the packaging just blew me away. I remember just falling in love with the card art, and Yeah, and then I think I got one for, like, my birthday or something, because my birthday was 4 days after we moved up here, so I remember getting at least 1 or maybe more than 1, and then that was it, you know? I mean, I had all sorts I had Ninja Turtles, I had, Star Wars, I had all sorts of toys, but yeah, G.I. Joe was always my favorite. Yeah, I don't know why.
So GI Joe is like you'd say that is your favorite property of like
I
growing up.
I think so, yeah, growing up, yeah, it was I mean, I always liked other things, but as far as, like, a toy property, it was always G.I. Joe, I think Ninja Turtles probably comes close second, um, as far as toys, but yeah, G.I. Joe
So
kinda
what
just
so what was it about GI Joe? Like what now again, like for us, and again, I'm saying us, but
yeah,
obviously a lot of us growing up in the US, our parents, served in Vietnam or served in the military,
yeah, yeah.
and it was still pretty Vietnam was still
Yeah, it was
high
still fresh stuff.
profile in the 80s, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what
Yeah,
was it about GI Joe that you saw? Because it said a real American hero. That meant
yeah.
nothing to me as a kid. I look back at it now and I'm like,
Yeah.
kind of alienating a lot of people, but
But, yeah. I mean, that's very perceptive I mean, I don't know, maybe part of being an immigrant, and being like, "Oh, this is," these guys got, this whole country has an entire toy line, I guess. I don't know. I remember my dad telling me, he was like, "Oh, these are the ones that I grew up with. They're just smaller." I think he had like a couple. I don't think he had a lot. I think he had like one
yeah,
or two when he was a kid. He was like, "They're just smaller, your mom loved these," because my parents have known each other since they were teenagers, like in middle school, basically. So he was like, "Oh, your mom used to love playing with these," type of deal. Maybe that made a connection too. Um, I don't know. There's just a lot. Like when you think back, there's just so much to it. Like when you would buy a vehicle, it would come with this form inside that you could buy more stuff through the
yeah.
mail. It was cheaper than it was at the store. So I don't know. It was just easy to kind of just build your army and your toys. And I think my dad kind of because my dad's also kind of a nerd, so I think he liked that aspect too of like you collect flag points and they send you free stuff. Like it's like a no brainer. Like you just pay for shipping, sure thing. Um, yeah, I mean, the reason I had a lot of toys was because my dad's a comic collector. He's a Batman collector actually. So, for him too, I think moving to this country was like, it was eye opening. It was like walking through a portal, and it's just like everything's available, like comics and all these things that he probably didn't have growing up in Venezuela. Were like they're just everywhere. They're at a gas station. You go to a gas station, they have comics at a gas station. They have
I
everywhere.
remember getting all the GI Joe comics, and then some of the Transformers and He Man at at the spinner rack
Yeah,
at
yeah.
7-Eleven.
At 7-Eleven, yeah, CBS, or well, it wasn't CBS back then, but whatever it was,
It
like
was
first
well,
Rite
ours
Aid or
was Arbor Drugs. We had
Arbor Drugs, yeah,
Arbor and Perry Drugs.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had Rite Aid. I think it was like Rite Aid or something like that, and
Rite Aid bought Perry for
okay,
us,
okay,
and
that's
then
what it was.
CVS bought Arbor. Um, and
Before I
you're
remember,
right.
yeah, it was called. I remember it was called. God, what was it like? Fancy something drug. I remember the name drugs being in it because I remember being 7 and being like, "Oh, they sold drugs there." I don't know. I
Did
didn't
they have
know.
that snow there too?
Yeah, they probably said that's where they were getting the snow. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, yeah, it was. I'm sure for him, yeah, like I was saying, for my dad, I mean, the weekends were like basically going to comic book stores because my mom was working on weekends, so we'd spend the day kind of just hitting up Toys R Us and Play World and whatever, like flea markets and things like that. Every weekend he'd just buy me like an action figure. Here's like a new action figure, and it was yeah, that was growing up was cool. I mean, I got very lucky to have a dad who loves toys too, which might have inspired me.
Oh, I
I
mean,
don't know. I don't know if my dad didn't like toys, would I be into toys? I don't know. I can't say.
it's gotta be. I mean, it's gotta mean something. I mean, my dad, and my dad's always been in my life. Um, but he didn't hate that I skateboarded. The only
Okay.
thing he hated was that that's all that I ever wanted to do. And he's like, I just wish you would. When I was younger, he's like, I just wish you would do more. But my dad wasn't into sports.
Yeah.
So there was no like, it wasn't like he was taking me to baseball games or football games, right? So it was skateboarding, and he would, he was the one that always drove us somewhere. If we went snowboarding, he was the person that would drive us and, drop us off and come pick us up later or whatever. So there was never that connection where, if you have a connection, especially like if your dad's into toys or collectibles,
Yeah.
whether it be Batman or, whatever it is, like if he's taking you and you're walking into some sort of toy store
Yeah.
or flea market, and you're not going to flea market looking for, rugs.
Yeah.
He's going to look for
Yeah.
toys,
Yeah.
or some sort of collectible. Yeah, that's gonna, I think that would inspire you as a kid, and
Yeah.
probably make you closer with him because
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, growing up to, you know, as once I got older, my dad always worked. So he was always working, you know, like 15, 16 hours a day. He's delivered pizza and Chinese food his whole life. So he wasn't around a lot, so yeah, teenage years, obviously you bump heads with your parents and stuff like that. But yeah, that the toy thing and the comics and all that always kind of kept us, connected in some way. There was always something to talk about, or something like, oh dad, did you see this? Or like, oh, did you hear they're doing this? Or they're making, like, oh, they're making new Star Wars movies, like how cool, so yeah, there was always that connection. But there's always that like kind of too, I guess, resentment too, because you wanted, something more deeper than just talking about toys, I guess, if we're being honest.
I actually, that's weird because, like, my dad worked afternoons until my mom passed away.
Yeah.
I saw him on the weekends, but they were doing something. So, I remember my dad. He sacrificed everything for my sister and I because he had us to raise. But, like, I'm very close with my daughter, not as close with my son because he's at an age where he knows everything and he doesn't think
Yeah.
that we do anything. It's weird. My daughter, she's 17, and again, anyone that watches the channel knows how much she's involved
Mm.
with coming behind me, and and she's like way different. And you know, her mom and I, we split up a long time ago. We have a great relationship, but it's one of those things where it's like I sometimes still feel bad, like if we're not doing something. And I felt like this for a while. My son's 20 now; he just turned 20. But it's like, man, by 14, 15, I wasn't. Not that I wasn't talking to my dad. I was off with my friends
Yeah.
doing all
Yeah.
kinds of things. But life is so different, and like the kids' lives today it's so different
Oh yeah.
because they sit at home, they play video games. It's how they get to know people.
Yeah.
And who am I to question anyone with that lifestyle these days? Because
Yeah.
all my best friends now are through this stupid
This-
computer, believe it or not. I mean, that's what Joe Fest makes it. That's why Joe Fest is so great because I get to see and hang out with these people.
yeah.
So uh it is a different time for sure.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, no, it is. I mean, not to say that I'm not I'm completely grateful for my dad. My dad,
Yeah.
he sacrificed a lot and stuff. Obviously, like, and like I said, this is kind of the glue that keeps us together, and it's cool having him come down to shows like the local shows here and hanging out, and even just getting to go to a show because I'm sure he hasn't done that in a while. So it's exciting to kind of share that with them. And who knows? Like now that I have a son who's 13. I've been buried deep into this Kickstarter, into this toy company. So who knows what my son's gonna think of me years from now? Fucking, or whatever, asshole dad, just spending time with his toys and not me. Yeah, who knows?
I tell my kids, I'm like, when I pass away, you can do whatever you want with these toys.
Yeah,
I don't care. My flag, it's my childhood flag. That's why it means something to me. I'm like,
yeah,
this stuff means stuff to me. It might not mean anything to you. All that I ask is that you don't give it away. Get money for it. If you're gonna sell it, don't just, hey, I need to get this out of that. No, no, no.
yeah.
Take your time because a lot of this stuff is worth money. None of the 6-inch stuff that I buy right now. Very little of that. But that 4 inch, that 1/18th room, yeah, get what you can out of it because that's where that's
Yeah.
where you're gonna get a lot of your money from.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. Yeah. Yeah. I think that
So
was kind of my dad's kind of thought too. And as a kid, you hear like this stuff is going to be worth money someday, and you're like, okay, whether it is or not, that's neither here nor there, But I've had these conversations too about like his because he has a pretty huge collection, and a thing like that, what's going to happen when you pass away. I don't really want to deal with all this. I don't want to spend my time,
I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of one of the that's one of those like y- your last gift to them,
yeah,
having
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
deal with your fucking shit.
Exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. And
What
it's
am
not
I supposed to do with this when you die? I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, I don't know. It's not even
It's
about
your problem because I'm dead.
isn't that exactly? And I feel like it's not even about me. It's about, men die younger than women. So even it's about my mom. Like, what is my mom gonna do with all that stuff? Like you do with a 1960 Batman helmet or whatever. I don't know. So a
Well,
lot
some
of
of
it is
that
just
stuff is if someone has a bunch of the 1985 or 1995 Power of the Force stuff,
uh,
that's when you got to be like, you may want to get rid of this
yeah, you just burn
because
it.
I don't want to deal with it because
Yeah,
I know what it's worth, and
yeah,
it's
exactly.
less than what we paid for it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we
It's
all
not worth
bought a
the
lot of
time.
it.
Yeah, it's not worth the time. Yeah,
Yeah, the 90s killed things being worth money. Let's just say
yeah,
that comics, Image, thanks a lot, Image. Uh,
yeah.
Power of the Force.
Comics. Yeah, yeah.
But none of us knew that because we came out of the 80s where things started being worth money because there wasn't collectibles the way they were now.
No, no, yeah, yeah. It's insane now. Yeah.
So what was it like when you're growing up, you're in middle, you're in elementary school, you go into middle school. Are you still collecting or are you playing with I don't we didn't collect toys. Are you still playing with toys in the middle school? Now, if your dad is a collector, you may still be one of those kids that's still getting stuff.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was still, I mean, yeah, playing. I mean, I wouldn't say much playing. I think there's a certain point where your brain just doesn't think the
Yeah.
same way as it used to. But I still had them in my room. They were still displayed on my shelves. They were, friends would come over. I didn't, think twice about it. Yeah, they were always up, even up all the way up until high school, even with girlfriends and meeting like the cool kids in the punk band, like the local punk bands and being like, "Hey, can I design your CD cover?" And then they would come over to the house and, I didn't care. My toys were there, like it didn't really bother me. I think too, maybe that my dad having a collection too in the garage, maybe that normalized things for everybody else,
Yeah.
like so it wasn't as weird to see like a 16-year-old kid with action figures on the shelf when his dad has a, giant collection.
So when you get in the middle, when you get into high school, like what types of things are you into? You brought up like kids in punk bands and stuff. Are you doing artwork? Because it sounds like if you're designing covers for, and I know the garage bands, I know how they were. Like, are
Yeah,
you into music? Are you into sports?
yeah, I was funny enough, I was into everything. I was obsessed with basketball from a young age, from like, I mean, pretty much since I mean, as far as I can remember, since I moved here and I started school and we would just play in the gym and PE. I really loved basketball, and my dad liked baseball. He got me into baseball. We'd
Wait, a
play.
Venezuelan that likes baseball?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. We used to collect all the Venezuelan players, all the cards, all the like if he was Venezuelan, we had like a giant book full of just Venezuelan players. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So what are you doing in high school? I mean, you said you still kind of collect toys, but that's your dad kind of passed this on to you, and it sounds like he was still doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you playing sports? Are you into like the music or
Yeah, no, yeah, middle like I said, like elementary school, I love the basketball, and then middle school is when I started trying out for the teams, for like the middle school teams, and whatever. Even like we have a police academy league, which was like the local league or whatever. Tried out for those. Spent like pretty much all my days after school from sixth grade on all the way to like at least 10th grade. I was on a basketball court from
Okay.
like 3 p.m. till the lights went off basically at the park, and just came home. Uh, by the time I was in ninth grade, my parents sold the house in Miami Beach and we moved to the suburbs, and it was harder to kind of get around. Really, Miami Beach, everything was kind of walking distance, and in the suburbs in Miami, you definitely needed a car. I didn't have a car at 16, so rely on friends, and then yeah, got into music, like the rock and roll and punk rock, and started. My friends were in bands and started going to shows at 15, 16. uh yeah, just I was into a lot, and then I was also the only guy that was working that had a at 16 with a full-time job. You know, so it was on my it's like Friday night. I'm working. I'm in the weeds. At the restaurant. My friends are out having fun and doing God knows what. But yeah. High school was interesting. High school was fun though.
Well, let
Not,
me ask you this, because do you look back at like those first jobs that you had? Like my first job was working at Ponderosa, um, dishwasher, a cook, different things like
yeah,
that. But do you now look back at it? Because when you're in it, you're like, I hate this. I got to work. All my friends are,
yeah,
but I made so many good friends and I have so many good memories
yeah.
of those first couple jobs and the people you got to know. Do you feel the same way? Because I've never asked anyone like that, but
I mean, yeah, I have fond memories of working. My first job was at a Pizza Hut. I don't know. I genuinely liked working. I like going to work. I like making money. I was making money, so when I got a paycheck, I could just go buy toys and CDs and like things that my friends couldn't do. So for that, and I could take my girlfriend out to dinner and whatever. But I mean, as far as like the work, I mean, I don't think I kept in touch with anybody from those early days, but I mean, it's a life experience. You learn a
yeah.
lot from there. You meet crazy people, uh, I don't know, working at there was a point where I was working at Pizza Hut and there was like 6 Carloses working at the same time, and on a Friday night, like on the busiest nights, everyone's like, "Carlos," and everybody comes out like, "Who?" Like, like who? So yeah, it was, I loved working. I mean, but it was crazy too because then I would stay, in high school like till 1 a.m. and then have to be at school at 7:30. I slept through pretty much all of high school. I was just sleeping in class, and teachers didn't care. They didn't bother waking me up or, or anything. Like they let me sleep. I don't know. I don't know if they knew that I had a full-time job, but they were just they're like, whatever. This guy's a lost cause, I guess. I don't know.
And now you're trying to create a toy company. So
Yeah, yeah.
they were correct.
They were correct. Yeah, they were they were right, yeah. Yeah.
so eh, so you go through high school, you graduate. Do you go directly? I mean, you're already in the workforce, but do you go to
Mhm.
college, or do you go like directly into just staying in the workforce, trying to find your way that way?
I don't think this may sound weird, but I don't think I was really aware of what like college was and what that entailed and what even it took to get into college or I just wasn't really by the time I started working and stuff, I was just working. I was just living day to day, like just happy. Like I wasn't looking into the future or anything like that. Um, it wasn't until after high school where one of my friends who was also an artist was like, "Hey, I'm going to go to this art school. I'm trying to get like a loan or something. My dad won't sign or whatever." And I was like, "That sounds cool. I want to check it out. Like art school. And yeah, I signed up and and then I started my college career. But I mean, I had my cousins and my friends all went to college, but it's just never something that I thought about. I just,
I I
I don't
get
know.
that completely because I
Yeah,
never had any ambition to go to college,
yeah,
and I went to community college for a short bit, and I basically got a job in electronics, and
Yeah.
that was it. I never felt the need to go back, and I fix copy machines, and people don't grow up going, you know what I want to do? I want to fix copy machines.
Yeah. No,
That's why
yeah.
there's so few techs out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, and again, it's not like I got it right out of, not like I got it right out of high school. I lucked into my job. Uh, but so I kind of feel the same way. You probably described it unlike I've ever described it, but everything that you said is exactly how I felt like.
Mhm.
I had no idea. I knew I was graduating. I was done with high school. I was going to go to some sort of community college, which I did. Didn't know what I was going to do, what was on my mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I can say that.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't, my parents weren't, I think they were just too busy with work, because they both work. My dad worked basically two jobs. My mom also worked. She cleaned houses. She was a nanny all up until like a few years ago, a couple of years ago. Pretty much since we lived in the States. So they just weren't really didn't know what was going on with me in school. So I got away with a lot, just not doing anything. Just basically just like going to school or skipping a lot of school. uh I don't know. It was different. I was definitely a latchkey kid. I was when you talk about being 7 and 8 and walking to school by yourself and walking home by yourself and making myself meals, till somebody showed up at the house. And I had to figure a lot out on my own. And same thing with college. Nobody talked to me about college or the future. It was what I would hear was like, you're gonna have to work till you die. That's what I would hear. You're gonna work till you die.
Wait, you
Uh,
don't hear that anymore?
I mean, not from them. I mean,
Not from
I hear it. I hear it from myself. I tell myself that all the time. I'm gonna work till I die. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the way they saw the world, I guess. They were young when they had me. They were 19, 20 when they had me. So I don't blame them for whatever decisions or choices they made. But yeah,
No.
that's kind of the mentality was just like, yeah, I'll just work till I die. I don't know what the heck
Well,
is
no,
school.
and again, I think, again, I'm 2 years older than you are, so
Yeah,
we come from the exact same generation. And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think today, like if my kids saw the way I was raised, it'd be completely different.
yeah.
Like
Night and
grandpa
day.
really wasn't part of your life. Like, well, he was a huge part of my life. What do you mean? Like, he gave up everything when my mom passed away.
Mm.
He made sure, but like, no, he didn't. He wasn't there. We weren't like we'd go to movies from time to time. We'd watch some TV. We didn't watch sports together. We didn't do a lot of stuff together. He made sure that he would take me where I needed to go or to the skate shop to get new skateboards or whatever. Like he was always doing stuff like that. But yeah, I was on my own. Like my dad he didn't know where I was at.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody.
My dad knew which friends of mine drank and did drugs, and he knew that I didn't. So
Yeah,
he gave me this leeway. And when you're 13 and your mom passes away, for me, I was like, my dad has enough things to worry about with a little sister, with my little sister.
yeah,
I don't want to cause any more problems for him. So I found people that didn't cause problems. And
yeah,
when friends we grew up with became, they experimented with other things, I didn't do it.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, I think my kids would be like, my grandpa did what? Like, grandma didn't do nothing. All right. Like, that's probably the easiest kid to raise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was a pretty good kid though. Growing up, I didn't really get into trouble until I was like 18. Until I was 18 and an adult, when I shouldn't have been getting in trouble. But yeah, I mean, my sister's 13 years younger than me, and she was born premature. And I think I realized pretty early that they were, at least especially for my mom, that she was going to take up a lot of her time. I just kind of stayed back, I guess. Just didn't really, I tried, I obviously helped with my sister as much as I could, also being 13. But then, once I was 16 and a girlfriend and friends and a job, I really wasn't around to see my sister, to be there for her,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and
Well,
then
it's
moved
not our
back.
job to be there for
I
our
wasn't, yeah, yeah,
children.
not at all, not at all. Yeah, but yeah, 18 came around. I think I was out of the house by 18 or 19. Try to get out of there as soon as I could. Thought I had it all figured out.
So you work full time. You end up going to college for, it sounds like, art.
Yeah, it was an art college for graphic design. It
Okay.
was yeah, the program seemed interesting. It was like yeah, I mean, something I always liked to do was just kind of, you know, draw and create stuff, and I don't know. It just seemed to make sense, and went to school for like about maybe 2 semesters, and realized I could not afford it. It was between working 2 jobs and going to school and everything. It just wasn't feasible, and I dropped out. And I had the same friend who told me about the school. He ended up never going to the school, and he got a job designing flyers. And he was like, "Hey, I'm here designing flyers, whatever. If they're looking for somebody, if you want to come, come check it out, whatever." And got a job there, and yeah, like that must have been 19 or 20, and started designing flyers full time
So
for Miami. Yeah, Miami. Yeah,
so that shows you how young and dumb you were. That the
yeah,
guy that said, "Hey, I'm going to school for this,"
hmm,
and you're like, "I'm going to do it too,"
yeah.
and then you can't handle it. And you're like, "He didn't even do it," and then he's like, "Oh, wait a minute. Why don't you follow me here?"
He's like, I already have a job. Yeah. And what you're trying to study. Yeah. 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 Just come
So
here. Yeah. Come here and work. Yeah. 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 Pretty
so
much.
so so you didn't end up finishing college. I don't know if you ended up going back or not, but
No.
again, I didn't either, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm successful in my life, and not everyone needs college, but I do think when you get to a certain age, you have to have a direction.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to kind of have a direction, like, hey, I'm good at, I'm good with this. I'm good with my hands. I'm good with mechanical stuff. People that have artists have art ability, and I know I've talked to a lot of people that are artists that have this art ability, and they're like, hey, everyone has the ability. No, you either do or you can get better. You can get better, but I fix copy machines. I could fix a car if I worked with somebody. People either have mechanical ability or they don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can do stuff to an extent. Um, so you end up going to work with your buddy. Now, during this time, are you collecting anything, or are you
Yeah.
partly broke because you're still buying and collecting stuff, or is that just put aside and like, I can't afford it?
No, I mean, I was still collecting. I would still go, because, I was still working. I was still working. So like late, I remember we just had got a Walmart, and I would go after work, like after midnight or whatever, like 1 in the morning, and go, peruse the toy aisles, and like they'd be, you know, stocking up the shelves. Yeah, that was, I was still collecting. I never I never really stopped collecting. I mean, maybe for a period, after I met my wife, but only because we were both collectively broke, but not because I didn't want to collect, or, but yeah, yeah, I know. Even in my 20s, in my early 20s, I was collecting. I moved out. I was living with a girl. She also liked stuff, like she was into the Simpsons, so we'd collect like the World of Simpsons toys. We had them all in the living room. Yeah, I was still buying stuff. I was still, if it looked cool to me, I would buy it. I wasn't like,
Yeah, I feel like during that maybe late teens, the early 20s, there were certain things that I would buy. It
mm,
was not GI Joe, I can tell you that. I mean, I
yeah,
still had all my original stuff, and there wasn't a lot of GI Joe at the time. Um, it was more Star Wars, some Star Trek stuff. I got into Spawn stuff, but I used to like. I mean, toy hunting it's kind of dead. I mean, yeah, you do find
yeah,
some stuff, but now you just go online and find everything. But I used to like just finding stuff and holding it in my hand and being like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all right, you know what? If I wanted it, I could buy it, but I don't really need this. Today I struggle more. I struggle more these days with not buying something,
Yeah,
um, because now I have adult money and I'm like, I like the way this looks, but I've started to look around and be like, all right,
You
I don't
know.
really need this. Um, and I can also, like today, I found that the Super 7 Tiger Force Wild
Oh,
Bill,
oh man.
what talk about one of the most ugly figures ever created in an O-ring form. And I'm like, yeah, this thing should sit up here forever. These people that are hunting, it is so ugly.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um, but as you're collecting and you're working your way through life, I guess you could say,
yeah.
when you start dating people, when you start dating girls, is it difficult to kind of introduce them? Because I've dated girls and you're like, you tell them that you collect toys and they're like, oh, that's really cool. And you're like, no, I mean, I collect toys. And they're like, oh no, yeah, it's cool. I collect this. And then they walk in your house and they go, oh, you collect toys. I'm like, yeah, like I told you, like
Try to tell you, yeah, yeah. Ah, I know, so I mean, like with my before my wife, I guess the girls I dated were either into some, into anime or something like that. They were in, so it wasn't weird. And maybe for my wife, definitely my wife wasn't, into collecting or anything like that. And I'm sure when she came and saw my dad's collection, it was very jarring or very mind blowing, to think that a garage full of just Batman stuff exists in somebody's house. But yeah, she's not really like a collector, I would say. Like there's things she like she really likes like Pyrex stuff, like the Pyrex glass. And when she goes to like a Goodwill and she finds something she like, I don't know how she knows. She'll tell you everything, the history of the Pyrex glass, and that's her thing, So, and I support it as long as she supports whatever my my collecting is. But other than that, she's really not into it. She's not really into like the culture and the going to the cons and whatever. And it's understandable, I mean, it's also understandable to even tell somebody that, hey, I want to make toys, like this is what I want to do, not just collect, but I want to make them, and it's
Yeah, I think it's like there's a lot of people that have gotten into toy collecting since the pandemic. And
yeah,
that's when it's like, how do you explain this to your significant other?
yeah, yeah,
Because and I always say this about people that are buying they buy subs for their
mhm,
YouTube channel or they're buying their promotions,
yeah,
to promote their reviews. I'm like, there is no one in this world that is like, man, I have so much extra money. I'm looking for something to spend it on. Oh my god, a video of a toy review. Yes, I want to buy a toy. Like you're either looking for it or you're not, right?
yeah,
Um, it's got to be difficult to explain that to someone that you've been involved with. Like, I'm gonna start buying this, and
yeah,
then when they start seeing the thousands of dollars, and I do say thousands of dollars that start going out the window. Now, again,
yeah,
I don't know people's financial situations. I don't ask, and as
yeah,
long as you put the roof over your head and the food's on the table, clothes on, your kids are I don't care. Spend your money on whatever, right? We're not
yeah,
taking it with us,
no,
but it's
yeah,
got to be a hard sell to someone where they're like, wow, we had lots of extra money. We were going on vacations, and now your vacation is you want to go to Joe Fest.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the hard part. I don't really like. I've always kept my collecting to I don't know. I don't go crazy with it. There's things that like I said, there's things that I like, then I see and I'll buy. I do love like the new Super 7 stuff. I mean, anything that's O-ring really, that's kind of what I've been into now. Um, I wish I had more money to buy other things, like I wish I could afford like the classified stuff and if I was into classified, I would buy two of everything, so it's like so I know where to say no, so it's like, okay, I can't buy two of everything, so I'm not gonna do it, I do have like some classified figures, and now when my daughter sees them, she'll just take them and play with them, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. At least somebody's enjoying it, like that to me is the most important part. But
That's what they're for. That's why they're called toys.
that's why they're called toys, exactly. But yeah, as far as like my wife, I mean, she kind of messed up though. She kind of messed up many years ago because I had stuff, and there was stuff when because so we met in Miami, but we moved after we moved together to Portland, Oregon, and we lived there for 7 years. So it was just her and I. Like we were just dating, like we were engaged, moved up there, and then got married, and it's just her and I figuring it out together. But I don't know, like like a birthday or something. I don't know what it was. Maybe Valentine's Day. She got me the 25th anniversary GI Joe set, like the initial one with Duke and Snake Eyes, and like the modern era
Yeah.
one. I and as much as I was into toys and all that stuff, and always on websites and always reading up on things, I for some reason I missed this release or whatever. And she was at Target one day, she found it, she brought it home and gave it to me, and I was like, first of all, what the hell is this? Where did this come from? I've never seen this before. And she was like, yeah, they had it at Target, whatever, it was this much. And I was like, this is so cool. And then found out they had a Cobra set, and then and then from there it was over. I would wake up like at 6 in the morning and try to go to Target. I would hit up every Target in Portland, Oregon that I could,
Uh,
trying to find the 25th stuff. Just
I mean, I was the same way with like the Star Wars Power of the Force
yeah,
stuff. And
yeah,
when you start getting deep into this, like
yeah,
I'll be 100% honest, I never knew what a Target store was growing up.
yeah,
So I started buying like toys and
yeah,
being there because I just went to Kmart or Meyer. That's what we had Meyer. So we went to Kmart or Meyer. I don't remember ever going into a Target store, and we didn't
yeah,
have Walmart for quite some time. Like
yeah,
Walmart
exactly.
came much later for us,
Yeah,
which is hard to believe considering now Target and Walmart are on every single corner. At
yeah,
least where I'm at, in the Metro Detroit area. There's like when people tell me like, yeah, my closest Target's like 45 minutes away. I'm like, if I drive 45 minutes, I can honestly hit about anywhere from 7 to 10 different Targets.
yeah,
And now I'm
yeah,
not even talking about the Walmarts that are on the other side.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially in a bigger or like a bigger city. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I don't. The first Target I remember is I want to say was somewhere in north, like Miami's in Dade County. This was probably somewhere in Broward County, which is the county above Dade. There's this huge mall, and I think there was a Target there. I remember going with my parents, and this was mid to late 90s. And what blew my mind about this was, first, I'd never been to Target before, but I remember going in there, and they had toys from like they had GI Joe toys from like 1989, 88. They had a Cobra Wolf. They had like things that you hadn't seen in years, and like at least 5-10 years at that point. And I just remember being like, oh my god, what, like, where did how did these end up here? First of all, what is this place? But I remember regretting not asking to buy anything. Like I like, because even some of the figures they had were even older. They were like from like, yeah, like the mid to late 80s. Just stuff that you wouldn't find anywhere, and they were regular priced. And yeah, I don't know.
I
I wish I
swear
would've.
I remember being in the 90s and we went looking for stuff. And I remember telling my buddy, like, let's go to Toys R Us. I remember like they recently had this stuff. And I
Yeah,
feel like there was that time that some of these toys they just sat around forever and ever. And it's like, I look
yeah.
back and I'm like, there's no way that a toy was there that was 7 years old.
I mean, I've heard stories of back stock just sitting there forever, and then somebody finds it and pulls it out. I mean, I don't know if see, I don't know the history of this Target, so I don't know if it was like a new Target and they just had stuff from somewhere else or stuff
Yeah.
from other stores. I don't know where Target got started, but I just remember just going through the figures, and I feel like I had dreams about them, like later, or not even dreams, but nightmares, right? Because they'd be nightmares, being that I couldn't take anything home. But yeah, yeah, that was wild. But yeah, yeah. So I guess back to Portland. Yeah, my wife, after, it's not that I stopped collecting. I guess we were just trying to figure out, because we had moved to Portland, trying to find a job and trying to find just steady work, I guess. I just wasn't really focused on buying toys until she got me that set, and then just kind of
No, I fully get that too. Cause like
getting
I
it.
I've never said I quit skateboarding, but I stopped
Yeah.
skateboarding, and it was
Yeah.
just that life got in the way. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
my ex, she got pregnant with our son, and I was actually starting to skate again all the time. And then when she got pregnant, it was like, well, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. It's kind of rude for me to be like after work, oh, I'm going to go ride my skateboard while she's sitting at home raising her daughter. And then I don't know. Rumor has it I participated in this whole knocking her up thing. We're still
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
debating that one. Um, so he comes along, and I want to go spend as much time with my son as possible because they're only baby for so long. Then my daughter comes along, and it wasn't until her and I split up that I was like, I need to skateboard again.
Yeah,
And I
nice.
never said I quit, because other things were more important. Just like what you kind of said about, the collecting. It's like, hey, I had other things that were more important, which is called being an adult, which
Yeah.
totally sucks.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
Wilhelm quickly says, I hear if you back the Rise of Nexus Kickstarter, you can get 2 free figures. Is that true?
yes. So, yeah, you can get 2 free figures if you pledge over $100. If you pledge under $100, or basically any backer at any tier gets 1 free figure. If it's the digital tier at the $20, all you have to do is pay for shipping, but everybody else gets that figure for free. And yeah, if you pledge over $100, you get an additional figure for free. Yeah.
Now, do you know did you meet Wilhelm?
Oh yeah, yeah, I love Willem.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 he's awesome. Yeah. Yeah,
Wait,
appreciate
is did you
it.
plant him here?
Yeah, no, I know, he's just cool, yeah. I did not ask him to do this.
So Will says this to me. I see him like first thing when we get to Joe Fest, right?
Mhm.
I get to Joe Fest, I see him, and somehow him and I didn't take any pictures last year.
Okay.
And I don't know how. I got a picture of his son passed out like this. Um,
Wait, this is not this year, this is last year, right? Or
this was in 25.
like 25, okay, yeah.
So somehow him and I didn't take any pictures, and we
Okay.
talked and hung out a lot.
Yeah.
And then he says this. Now, we always talk about, like, you need to give people credit. If you're using someone else's picture, that you know who it is. He goes, I know you probably didn't watch it, but my my show after Joe Fest, I'm looking through it. I'm like, I didn't take that many pictures. And then he goes, oh, wait a minute. Lawrence took a whole bunch of pictures. So I took like 6 or 7 of your pictures and then photoshopped my head over yours to show all the people that I met. What's hilarious about that is if you've met Will, he's like a foot taller than
Yeah,
me.
he's a tall guy.
All right. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
So I'm just like picturing. And then he says to me, he goes, oh, my next show's coming up. And he's like, I'll be photoshopping those heads over here. And I'm dying. I'm rolling because I'm like, that is so awesome. Because that's something that I would do and something that I find funny. And it's with someone that that you talk to and you have this good relationship with, and they're doing it, comically.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for all the great pics, Lauren.
I love it. Yeah, Willem's awesome, man. Yeah, the first time I talked to him was obviously over the internet like this, and then I go to Joe Fest and I'm looking for Will, and then I'm like, oh, like, oh, there you are. I thought you were at least my height, but no.
So, it's one of those things, and I tell people how short I am, and obviously I am. But you don't know, like, you don't know how tall someone is. You sometimes don't even, you can't tell their size. I thought Will, and I wasn't the only one. My moderator, Ed Action Face, he said the same thing. I thought Will was like a shorter, fat guy. So in 24, Joe Fest 24, I'm pulling in like into the parking garage, and he's like pulling up, and all of a sudden, man, like, I was with Tony and Travis, and one of them is like, dude, does that guy know you? And he's like waving like crazy. And I'm like, I think that's Will. I think that's Wilhelm. And then they rolled down my window. It was like, punk, punk. Like, hey, oh yeah. Well, come to find out, after 25, I found it out between 25 and 26. He had told someone, he's like, yeah, I saw Punk. I thought it was Sergeant Slaughter. And that is why I had stopped and I was waving at him. And he goes, when he rolled down the window, I realized that's not Slaughter. But he realized he knew who I was.
Yeah.
He never told me that. Somebody else told me that. And when I'm like, hey, I heard you thought I was Slaughter, and he was like, oh yeah. Like,
That's awesome.
No, there's so many good people at Joe Fest, and we're going to talk about Joe Fest. We talk about assembly required. I'm not sure if you're going this year. I know you were there last year.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go. I don't know yet. We'll see.
I made the decision yesterday for sure. Booked the
Okay.
room and everything. So
Awesome.
definitely excited. So be cool if you went. I think Will's supposed to go. I don't know.
I might. I'm just trying to see where we end in the campaign, and then try to see, because there's still Toylanta, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna do, and then assembly required. I'm trying to see what's before that, because assembly required is later. It's still November, right?
Yeah, November 12th and 13th.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
13th, yeah, something like that.
I need to expand out. Yeah, I need to go more west and north. Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's going for the first time.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Okay. So Todd White quickly says BBTS now has waiting list options. So at least maybe there's hope for sold out goodies.
Yeah.
Todd White's kind of talking to himself, and I found this one kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Then he said, Ken talked me into it. Yeah, I talked to Ken about it, and I yelled at Ken for not telling me that he was going to AR. I heard it through Ed, because Ed and I were talking about going, and then all right. So as you know, you're growing up, right? You get a real job. What career path do you go into, and are you still working, or are you like a full-time, I'm gonna own a toy company?
No, yeah. So yeah, I was working at like Pizza Hut till I was, I think, 21. Yeah, I was actually assistant manager when I was in high school at Pizza Hut, but yeah, I stayed there till I was 21. Yeah, I don't know how they trusted a kid with the keys to the restaurant, and but yeah, 21, and then when I got that job after college working design, I stayed there for a while, and then just found from that experience and stuff, I found other jobs doing graphic design work. Um, did that till 2006, 7, when after met my wife. 2005, 2006, we moved to Oregon. And then Oregon, like 2008.
Why Oregon? Like, you said that a few times, but I mean, I'll ask you after you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Why we moved up there? Well, we were both sick of Miami. Like, honestly, when we met, we just didn't want to live there. But that's something. I guess
why Oregon?
Why Oregon? I guess
you can be sick of Miami, but why Oregon?
I don't know.
That is a night and day culture.
It is a different culture. I think that's kind of what was appealing about it. It was also something, I think, romanticized from when I was younger. To like I said, I was a big basketball fan. Watching Jordan beat the Blazers in the 90s. I don't know, something about that city stuck. And then when my wife and I met, and we started talking about it and looking into, because the internet existed, but we still went to Barnes and Nobles to buy books about Portland, Oregon. Like, what's there, like, flip through it, and just something, just seemed cool. It had public transportation. It had wild, like, nature, things that just the big city like Miami didn't have. It was less expensive, like half. The cost of living was so much cheaper, as far as like apartments, and I don't know. It just seemed something cool and brave to do in your 20s, in your early 20s, and and we sold everything we owned, literally. Like her and we had garage sales, and we had a year together to save, and just saw as much as we could, and then we stuffed everything that we had left over in my Hyundai Accent, my two-door Hyundai Accent, and drove cross country to Oregon, and yeah, man, and started a life there. Her and I mean, it's awesome. I have so many fond memories of that. Just even just the trip alone, but living up there, we met a lot of cool people, and then the thing about responsibility and bills and things like that, you're young too, and you're married, and you spend your weekends out drinking and partying, and just going to all the different. I mean, Portland has so many bars, and I mean, they also have the most strip clubs per capita of any other city. There's just a lot to do in Oregon. I don't know, it was cool. And then just venturing out, just to the mountains and the beaches and hiking, and I don't know, we loved it. We loved it there. We miss it, but
Okay.
she got homesick. She got homesick after 7 years, and we moved back to Miami, and then immediately moving back was like, why the hell did we do this? I hate I hate it here. It was so great. Had it so good in Oregon. I mean, we weren't necessarily, I guess, being adults. I guess
But
it was
that's when
good.
you have to live your life. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
a drink. I've never drank in my life. I've never done
okay, yeah,
drugs or anything like
yeah,
that. So I live a different
yeah,
style. But I
yeah,
used to tell kids when I got back into skateboarding, I'm meeting these kids who are like early 20s. I'm like, listen, if you want to make a living doing in skateboarding, not
mhm,
being a pro, but there's videography, there's
yeah,
photography, team, like you need to go now. You
yeah,
can't wait till you have kids and then want to move to California. You need to go now when you don't have anything.
yeah,
Because once you have kids or you set down roots, it's not as easy just to uproot your family.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I mean, I totally recommend what her and I did to anybody. If you, I mean, I we knew that we were going to be together 20 years now, but back then we were pretty happy. I was pretty in love, and I think that was, though it was hard, that just being me and her, without having to rely on anybody, without anybody just being there to
Yeah.
bail us out for anything, I think is one of the best experience, that also helped us grow together stronger, you know. I think, even like the partying and stuff, like I didn't have my first alcoholic drink till I was 21, you know, and even
Which is
then
the
I
law, so that's good.
yeah, and but I didn't really enjoy it either, I'd do it at parties and stuff, and, you know, in Oregon, I definitely enjoyed the taste of all the different craft brews and stuff, and, definitely we had a lot of time being drunk in Oregon, but I don't really drink anymore. I mean, I haven't drank in years. Um, she doesn't either, but like I said, as far as like just it being her and I, that was, it's a cool. I recommend it to anybody who wants to start a life and just get away as far
It's
away from everybody,
all right.
Um,
1 second here.
yeah.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
Patrick Strunkel with the $5 super chat saying, looking forward to getting my Rise of Nexus figures. And it's Straw. Okay, Straw Co. Lawrence. Wait, what? There's no W in that. I was literally looking at it and I was like, I didn't finish reading it. And I'm like, am I saying his name right? But there's no W. So don't tell me how to say your name. Don't tell me how to pronounce your name if there's no W in it. Strawko. It's Polish. Oh, so that makes sense why there's missing letters.
I'm glad you cleared
Um,
that out because I read it's polish. So
listen,
that's
I obliterate the English language all the time. So all right. So are you still working? Are you still like in doing
yeah.
graphic
Oh yeah,
design
yeah.
and stuff like that?
Yeah. After when we moved back to Miami 2011, like trying to find a job. I went back to a pizza place. I was working at a pizza place for a little bit, but I was still doing design work, um, during the day, like 9 to 5, and then I got a job at a manufacturing company 8 years ago, doing graphic design, and I've been there since. Yeah, yeah.
So when do you get when did you get back into collecting? Was it is it after your kids came along?
Yeah,
I
no,
know when kids come along, a lot of us don't realize, like, we're not thinking, like, especially your first kid, like they're expensive.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, again, like it wasn't a thing where I got it was just a thing where it was like, I mean, especially with a kid, it was a better excuse now. Like I can go to Toys R Us whenever I want now. I don't need an excuse. And it was a lot of times we would just go just to play with like the Thomas and Train stuff and just walk around. But again, I never stopped collecting, man. It just never is a thing that never went away. Even I got into like the GI Joe 25th stuff for a little bit. I eventually ended up getting rid of a lot of that stuff. But if it wasn't that, it was something else. If it was like a TV show that I like, I became obsessed with Westworld, HBO, and when I saw they made toys, even though the toys sucked, I was like, I gotta have the toys because I like the show. So it was a lot of it was just things that, yeah, just things that I enjoy, and I just like, it'd be cool to have a toy of that. But yeah, when my son, so my son's not into really, like, he was more into Hot Wheels and things like that, not really into action figures and stuff like that. Um, I have a daughter she's 10 years younger than he is. She's 3 now, and she reminds me of like an old school kid who just loves this. Like, she'll sit by herself in the corner with her toys and her Paw Patrol playset and make her own world. And it's just stuff I don't know. I don't see a lot of kids that do that. Even my friends who have kids, they don't. They'd rather be in front of the computer or the TV or something. But she gives me hope, man. She's got she loves to get dirty, down and dirty, and in the backyard, and loves seeing her toys out in the backyard. Playing. I don't know. So it's cool. She keeps me into collecting toys too, because she likes so she likes Paw Patrol, and it's like, okay, now it's time to get you all the all the
So
Paw
okay, so I've said this for years. I don't believe collectors should have kids because we will obsess about them having everything. And my ex and I, like, her daughter, I raised her daughter since she was 5. She's my daughter.
Yeah.
And there was these Care Bears, and I've told the story numerous times. I think it was like 9 Care Bears. Can only find them at Walgreens, and I never found all of them. I think there was 9. I found 8 of them, and I would go in and I looked, and Susan would be like, she doesn't care. Like, she doesn't care that there's one missing, and I'd be like, you don't understand. There's 9. We have 8. That means 1 is missing, but she doesn't care. I care. And I don't even know which one it was. And then there were just remakes of the exact Care Bears that we had. I could have probably gone on in eBay, and eBay was still early stages then. But to this day, I'm like, and I know we don't have them anymore. She didn't keep them.
I mean, I guess that's true, though. I guess even because my son too was. I mean, it's crazy to think how long Paw Patrol was around. But yeah, when he was like 2, he was into it, and he had. I got him all the figures too. And then the thing about her is that she got into the new there's like a new Spider-Man cartoon for kids. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of.
They remind me of there used to be another Marvel thing many years ago that they looked the same way. I just saw it today because I was watching X-Men 97 and it popped up.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Well, the new one's called Spidey and his amazing friends or whatever. And one day, I mean, she's 3 now. This is like maybe a year ago, so she was 2, and I think my son put it on, or it just came on. And man, from that first episode, she got hooked on Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. So it's like
Superhero Squad.
Yeah, Superhero Squad. That's what it was. Yeah.
And I think the Spider-Man it's like in the same vein as that.
Kind of, yeah, like that kitty. I'm trying to think of what. I mean, yeah, it's got like that like new 3D style, like Paw Patrol.
Yeah,
like the characters all kind of look that style. But yeah, she's dude, she learned all the characters' names, and she was running around the house, shooting webs and stuff. And as soon as I saw they had toys, I went and I got them all. But what's upsetting is that they haven't made all the characters. They've only made like a few. So it's like, oh man, they're slacking. Like,
You see, you're reinforcing my theory that
yeah, no, I am. I
shouldn't have kids, but
yeah,
it's awesome to watch your kids
uh,
play with something. And
yeah.
My son, he was really into the Avengers, and so we
yeah.
had the 4-inch figures,
Mhm.
and I set up the aircraft carrier to be the helicarrier.
That's cool. Yeah.
And he would play with it, and he didn't know what GI Joe was, and he knew it wasn't the helicarrier, but he would ask me as a kid, he's like, is it okay if I play with it as a helicarrier? I'm like, it's your imagination.
Yeah.
You play with it however you want, So he got to actually have a helicarrier, which I would assume less than 10 kids in this world had an actual helicarrier, which was the USS Flag. Right. I'm sure one or two other kids did.
One or two, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So what is it that you are into collecting now?
Now, I mean, really kind of just looking into anything that's O-ring, really. I've been, for some reason, after getting into classified for a bit and looking at them and, seeing like the ugly old 1980s G.I. Joes. I mean, I say they're ugly. I think they're beautiful, but, I don't know, something about it just started calling back to me again, and just was like, and I just little by little started picking some O-ring stuff up, and stuff that I didn't have when I was a kid, and and then seeing the new O-ring lines too is just kind of exciting, because I've heard people say like, why do I want to buy your new line, like this new toy line of Rise of Nexus, when I can just go on eBay and buy the original GI Joes? And I was like, I get it, but there's a point where you have all the GI Joes, don't you want
you have to tell a new story.
Yeah, you have to tell
I think that's where Delta 17 comes in. I just got one of the Operation Recall in today.
Yeah.
Because I didn't back all of them, so I only got one, and the other ones are coming.
Yeah.
Quickly though, Ultraman says my little girl was obsessed with Toothless and Bolt. Oddly enough, my son Andrew loved both those things. He loved Toothless, which is from How to Train Your Dragon, and Bolt is the dog from Bolt. And
yeah.
To this day, when my daughter starts going on about something I don't want to hear, I go to the spot in Bolt where the cat was trying to rile up Bolt when he's talking to him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And I was like, all right, have a good day.
Yeah.
and she'll see me flipping through my phone, and she obviously knows I'm about to do something.
Yeah. She knows it's coming. Yeah. Man, funny enough, my son was obsessed with Bolt. He must have seen it. I no joke, like 50 times, I think, more maybe. He loved that movie, and it's not a bad movie. It's a great movie. It just didn't get just wasn't popular.
It was a fun movie. It told a different style of a story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't Pixar. It was Disney animation, which changes how people see it. I wish they would have done more with Bolt, because it was fun.
It was fun, man. It was and it's funny too, because I think it had already been out for a while by the time I became aware of it. But man, he was obsessed with it, and I think we tried to show it to my daughter, and she just didn't react the same way.
And that's just it. Like, sometimes one kid is like so into it, because like my daughter, she was like super excited to go to, and she's 17. Well, we just went to Universal. She was super excited to go to How to Train Your Dragon, Burke. And I go, and she's like, I need pictures of Burke, and you have a better camera than me, so take them, send it to me. I'm like, why do you care? She's like, I love the show. I'm like, since when? I knew Andrew did.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize my daughter, maybe because I can't, she's obsessed with Stitch.
Okay.
I mean, the whole room is Stitch, and it's
Stitch.
literally overflowing with stuff because once again, I had to go. I can't anymore.
Yeah.
I can't buy. Not that I can't buy anymore. I can't buy everything Stitch anymore.
I'm sure there's a point where it's like they only make so much stuff too, you know.
Yeah, and when my ex and I split up, she wanted to be Stitch for Halloween. I had to order a Stitch, like pajama for Halloween, and I had to order a bootlegged from China, and I was really worried it wasn't going to come in time, and I ordered it. The next year, stitches everywhere. Like you can't walk into, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and I'm like, I struggled, and believe me, I was like, this was still when let's just say my ex and I were not on good terms, and I'm like, I need this because it is a win for Dad.
Win, yeah. Any little win. Yeah.
Will wants to know, did you find anything cool at Joe Fest?
Man, so many things. Yeah, it doesn't mean I bought them. I found a lot.
Did you buy anything cool at Joe Fest?
What I bought? Yeah, so I bought a Legends of the Hidden Force figure. I got like one of the Strike Force Alpha figures, the Cook, the Seth Green figure.
I don't have any of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard to find now, the Strike Force Alpha stuff. I don't think it's like that easy.
But I mean, I didn't even look for any of it. I mean, I still obviously I just got the call sign or
called Skeletron.
Yeah, the recall. I got the Skeletron stuff. I have all the Delta 17, and I'm sure once the call sign longbow stuff starts showing up, I backed 4 of the figures. So I'm still buying a lot of the O-ring. But if I don't like the aesthetic of it, and I didn't really care for the Hidden Force one.
Okay.
And again, it's nothing negative towards them. It didn't it didn't grab me. But I talked about it. I found myself not looking at a lot of stuff at Joe Fest just because you only have so much time to spend with these friends that you hardly see. You see them once a year. I realized a lot of booths I didn't even bother looking at, which is bad on my part.
Yeah. I did find so there was one thing. I mean, it's not like super impressive or whatever, but I was looking for the carded stalker, the O-ring stalker from the Transformers set, from the Bumblebee set, because I have the set, but I just wanted the carded figure by itself, and then eventually, hopefully, I can find it loose by it, just the loose stalker. But that was like the one thing that I was like excited to find, because I've been looking everywhere, eBay, Mercari, and just either nobody has it or it's just ridiculously priced. But really, mostly nobody has it. So that was the one thing I was excited about. But yeah, I mean, Willem gave me. I thought I had it here. I thought he gave me a cool toy that he did, like a cool 3D print. And then I just remembered that my daughter just yesterday broke the thing off of Serpentor. Sneak off. Yeah, I don't know where the head is, but I'm sad about that.
Is that the whole?
It's just the little snake head.
Okay.
Because the thing comes off from like a backpack, from the Super 7.
I didn't open up any of the Super 7. I have Python Patrol, and it's sitting on card. I'm just like, why did I buy this? I think because oddly enough, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because I said I won't buy a Super 7 sight unseen. I got to see it.
Okay.
I love the idea of what they do, but I think sometimes their stuff is not sometimes, almost always their stuff.
Something is not. Yeah,
they should be better. Let's just like their stuff should be better.
I think so.
For the price, for the size company they are, and I'm looking at call sign longbow, and well, I can't say call sign longbow because that doesn't really come, but Skeletron and Operation Recon, and Delta 17. It's like, how are you giving me all this stuff for that price point? And the bigger company
can't do it. Yeah,
can't do it. And you know this. You're trying to create a similar style figure. So,
yeah. I agree. No, there's
but their stuff is like the O-ring stuff has jumped in price. Like if you look at some of the earlier stuff that they made, And early stuff, I mean, the past year and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of their stuff, their prices have jumped up.
I mean, yeah, react like a 5 POA reaction figure. I think they used to be like $10, like 10, 13, like when they first came out, I want to say.
Well,
And
the
then,
old reaction may have been,
yeah.
but that seemed like it was a long time ago.
Yeah. And then, they shot up to 20, like double in price. But yeah, I think that's the part, and that's kind of one of the things that I have a tier in the campaign where it's $100, and that gets you 4 figures, for $112 gets you 4 figures. But like we said, if you pledge over $100, you get 2 bonus figures, so it's 6 figures. That's $18. That's $18 a pop. And it's like trying to say, Super 7 doesn't even do that. Super 7 doesn't even give you a discount for their figures. You don't get a buy 2 get 1 free. So trying to incentivize this, even though the price that I'm making at that point is really only helping to go to tooling. It's not like making any profit, but just trying to get this thing launched.
Yeah.
And Super 7, who's got the big bucks, can't even knock off $1 off their thing. But whatever, I still love them. It's not anything personal. I'll still buy their stuff.
I can say, and if Ed is here, I've had my things to say. I'm not a big fan of Brian Flynn, and and the stuff that he has said. And we were walking, and he walked past me, and he gave me the dirtiest look. And I looked back, and Ed goes, "Oh, he gave you a dirty look," and I was like, "Oh." So it wasn't just me that saw it, like
yeah.
All right. Joe wants me to ask about the vintage Batman mask.
Yeah. So my dad has this like mask. It's like it's basically the Adam West looking cowl, but it's like made of a plastic. It's basically just a mask, like a helmet that you put over your head. And he had it in the living room for a while. And when my wife and I started dating, she came over, and she saw I like turned around for a second. She saw it there. She grabbed it out of the box and put it over her head. And my dad was outside doing something in the yard, and from the window he saw inside. He saw her grab it, put it over her head, and he ran inside the house so fast. Be like, take that thing, take it off. That thing's worth a lot. Like, I mean, I don't know how much he paid for it or whatever. I think maybe he was just more worried that it could break. But he was like, like kind of yelling at her, and yeah, it's just one of those stories.
That right there is the difference between a collector and a non-collector.
Yeah.
Because as a collector, you would never just do something like that, because not only might it be worth a lot of money, it might be just something very special to somebody else.
Yeah. Exactly.
But your wife is just, she thinks it's going to be funny. You're going to turn around and she's just like that.
I'm going to see her with it. Yeah. I might have, knowing my dad. I don't remember exactly how the events turned out, but if I would have seen her before my dad, I'd be like, "What are you doing? You're insane." You give my dad a heart attack. But I mean, I wouldn't have been upset. I would have definitely thought it was funny, but yeah, I don't know.
I know. And it's funny because I'll, like, my daughter will have friends over, or even my son, but usually when my daughter has a friend over, I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Whatever, and I'll go like, "Don't touch my toys."
Yeah. First thing.
And my daughter's just like, "Don't even." And usually you say that, and like 2 of them fall down, and you're like, "Yeah, okay, Mom, I understand. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that." Like,
yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this whole Rise of Nexus. And you have a Kickstarter going. It is, the first one, it did not fund, but now this time you have completely funded. Not completely. Would you consider it completely funded? I don't know what you consider completely funded.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess you're using in Kickstarter terms. I mean, fully funded isn't, the story that we're pitching is the story of the main character, Seiko. Yeah.
Joseph Carlos Ben has that rule now too.
Yes.
Don't touch that. Hi, how are you doing? Don't touch that.
Yeah, don't touch that. Yeah.
Does he ever bring it up to your wife? Before we get, does he ever bring it up to your wife? Like, does he ever show you guys something that he just got and then be like, "Don't touch it"? Because I would.
No, he's not. No, he's definitely. I think it was just that one particular item was like that. I think it was something, like I said, something maybe he had when he was little, because it's like from the 60s. So, so I think it's like extra special, because there's things I've actually by accident broken some of his stuff, and he wasn't upset, he just knows that it happened, things happen. It was an accident, but like I said, that one, I think that one was just my wife just having to pick up the wrong thing.
All the things in the
all
world.
the things, yeah,
the things. It's like you saw everything in here and you went, "That's the one I need to pick up."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was I don't know, it just stood out, I guess.
Okay, so you sent these to me. I remember you messaged me and you said, "Hey, I have this Kickstarter. I'd love to send this to you." And I know you sent them out to a few people, but I feel like I was the most important one.
Yes.
I got a big head.
I had a criteria though. I had a criteria of who I was sending it to. Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, I know that people have said that I'm just a classified guy, but I'm like, I kind of have this very large, and again, there's people that have much larger O-ring or 1/18 scale, but again, like, I don't think people that are doing, I don't think someone that is doing like a 7-inch scale, monsters, why would you send it to me? I don't cover anything like that.
Yeah.
So and again, I appreciate it, and like you said, they're so cool. I'm like, I can't remove them. Like, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, it was the thing when I was, before the first campaign, and I was trying to think of like how to get this out there, because that's one of the hardest things to do, even with social media and all these things. It's just hard to get people's attention, I guess. And I guess one thing was like you could send stuff through email, right? Like I could send you a marketing kit or something, but that's boring too, So I wanted to have something people could actually touch, to actually see that thought and time went into it, and it wasn't just something that I slapped together. But yeah, I picked people that I knew liked O-ring, that just enjoyed O-ring. Or even just GI Joe, obviously the first criteria, but then definitely we're more into O-ring stuff, and that's kind of what I was looking for, and I knew that people that I at least thought would appreciate it, which by the way, not everybody appreciated getting a box. So
wait, are you serious?
Yeah, that's maybe for another day, but yeah,
you don't have to say who, but wait.
No, yes, but I guess I don't know. It happens for whatever reason. I don't know what the reasoning is. Not everybody was as excited as say you or Willem or Dave or many of.
How can you not be happy? How can you not be excited like that somebody sent you something free? Because they're like, hey, I enjoy what you do. I think you would enjoy this. Hey, if you feel like you want to talk about it, hey, great. I'd appreciate it. But
I have an inkling as to why, but it was, I don't know. It was a little disappointing, like, especially, it's, where, yeah, they just.
Because you're going to have to stick around till after the credits when we stop recording, because now I need to know. Now, inquiring mind, this mind.
I mean, the thing, so it wasn't. Oh yeah, so I've been an artist, a graphic designer for 20 years. So criticism and things and being turned down and people saying no to me I'm very used to it. Like I'm very good with criticism. My boss now, I appreciate him more than any other boss, because he will tell me this sucks, and I'm like, cool. Because it's like, okay, sometimes it's not, sometimes it'll be that sucks, but sometimes it's just, it's just like the, try again, do this again, instead of like the pussyfooting around, and it's like, ooh, but what if we, like, what do like that. I just like, give it to me straight, like, tell me
Yeah.
what you want. Tell me what, tell me exactly what you want, so I can get there and provide you with what you need, Um, I don't know. I don't know why. So like I said, like I was saying, I'm okay with the criticism. I'm okay with people not liking what I do, but it was, I did it as like, this is something you might enjoy, right? You like cookies, you have a channel about cookies. I send you a box of cookies and you look disappointed that you got a box of cookies. It's very weird.
I'm
But
sorry. I'm like, my
yeah.
mind is gonna be so on this the whole time. Like I'm going to like every YouTuber ever. Like,
Again, I have, like I said, I have an understanding, because I'm also not like, of why it wouldn't be as exciting to
yeah,
get for these YouTubers. But
I just
yeah,
think it's
but
funny.
anyways,
Like, I
yeah.
just think it's funny. Like,
Yeah. But again, it's not, but even to this day, you get people who are like, oh man, I love O-Ring, but I'm so sick of Kickstarters, right? And it's like, okay, I get it, but like, say, you love Ford, and your Ford's been great to you, and your Ford, like, it's never had an issue. And then you hear that all Chevy cars are blowing up, but your Ford's still fine. Do you know what I mean? Are you going to stop buying Fords because Chevys are blowing up now? I don't know. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. I mean, I'm
well,
just ranting and venting, but
no, it's okay. It's okay. Again, you haven't said who it is, and
yeah,
I would never ask you to, nor do I think that you
yeah,
should, because um, I just want to know for my own mom.
yeah.
It's funny
you know,
when you're like, not everyone was like, it's like,
Not everyone was, yeah, man. I mean, not every, there's a couple of people that didn't respond, and that's also understandable. That's fine too. But I also made sure that, like yourself, everybody, I reached out to everybody first. Was like, are you cool with this? Like, is this? I definitely was like, are you cool with it?
yeah, I
Let me
remember.
know if you're not cool with it. Cool, I won't send it to you. No harm, no foul, right? I'll find somebody else, right? That's kind of the way I see it, but yeah, that's kind of how I started, was just try to kind of I guess, just push it on my own as much as I could, to try to at least get something into people's hands where they could show it to other people and say, hey, this looks cool. Check this out. I wonder what this is, or I wonder where this is going, and yeah, that's where I started as far as the marketing. The idea for the toy line came about like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. um, Playing with my son, got an idea for a tabletop game, and then it all spiraled from there. And now we're here with a whole full line of action figures, and hopefully, we can unlock the tabletop game that inspired all this.
So basically, you were playing with your son, and again, we've seen a few other people do a Kickstarter and do other things where they're trying to do games.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you follow Toy Domination.
Yeah, yeah.
He creates, again, Dom is awesome. The guy makes me laugh. The fact that, and I when I had him on the show, I'm like, so there's not that many people that are a lower rank than you on a base.
Mm.
And he was like, well, when you're at the Pentagon, I'm like, you can get the Pentagon, but you're a lieutenant colonel. That means there's only so many people ahead, like, above you. Like, he's like, yeah, there's times that I'm like, I should not be the highest ranking person with my mentality.
Yeah.
He creates this whole game. He's dressing up like Dom, you're a fool, which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's absolutely great. And when I had him on the show and he talked about, like, my wife is like, okay, you can have this much, but you can't keep destroying our yard. The neighbors are not going to be happy with. And I see his yard, and I'm like, I can't really blame your neighbors. Like,
yeah. At some point, you gotta imagine if that's you, right? Like, looking over, like, the heck.
And again, I'm one of those people as a skateboarder. Like, I would understand where like, hey, we wax curbs and our ledges and they technically get ruined. But to me, it's not ruined. To me, it's artwork because
Artwork, yeah.
people are skating it. But I could also understand if I own $1 million building, I might tell security, tell those kids, get off it. I wouldn't personally because I would make everything marble so it'd be nice and smooth.
Yeah.
But I have a different mentality. All right. So anyway, so you decide, you come up with this idea. Where does Rise of Nexus come from?
So like around the time I met my wife, started, I don't know, we just kind of, I guess, being alone too, like being, I mean, she was my girlfriend at the time and just had a lot of time to myself. I had a roommate and just, I don't know, I just wanted to work on something, and I came up with this idea for this story. And when I started thinking about the story, I started thinking about how the world was created inside of this story. So I went all the way back and created this story's Big Bang theory in a sense, right? And from there, it's a story about this kind of cosmic being that comes down and crashes down onto Earth and eventually kind of eats everything in its path, and then basically makes everybody on Earth fight against each other for entertainment. That's basically the premise of the story that I had come up with years ago. And when I shared it with my wife, she started writing the first rough draft to the story, and it kind of just inspired more things. And and then life happens. We didn't really work on it, but I didn't stop thinking about it. I kept, in my head, in my back of my mind, kept bringing the story back up. And then that day when I was playing with my son and came up with this idea for the tabletop game, I was like, well, this thing needs a story. Like, why are they in here fighting? Why are they fighting each other? Like, why are the two teams battling it out to the death? Like, it needs something. And then it reminded me of that old story, which I called the Wreck Age. So it's like a play on words, like the age of wreck, like the Stone Age. Thinking about it, the story became more and more condensed, I guess, more focused in the arena, and that's more what I was thinking. So Rise of Nexus is really like a story within a story, basically. What we're seeing at this point, it's almost like it's like we're starting off at Return of the Jedi, I guess, right? If it was a 3-part story, it would be at the end is where we're starting. So I eventually, years of thinking about it, like I said, in the last 5 years, finally kind of pieced it all together and have it all together and working on a comic for all this, and came up with the characters, and it's been a lot, man. It's my brain is a little fried.
So when you first did the Kickstarter, which was when was the first Kickstarter? When did it?
Last year, September. Yeah, June, July, August, September. Yeah, September.
So when you kicked it off and then it doesn't fund, at what point did you say, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this again? And what were the changes that you made? Because I would assume that if it's not successful, you have to go back to the drawing board a little bit and be like, what do I have to tweak to make this successful? Because I would assume talking to certain people, they gave you input that certain people liked it, and I'm sure there were some people. Obviously, there's one person that was like, "Don't you fucking send me free shit."
Yeah.
See, that's how my mind is working. This guy was like, "Don't you dare send me free shit." All right, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, after the first one, it didn't fund. I thought I would relaunch it again. I just didn't have a timeline. I was kind of like, everything was up in the air, and immediately after it ended, or even while that previous Kickstarter was going, I took a class. I took like an online course, like a 12-week course on product design, on toy design. So I didn't really get a chance to to think about what I was going to do next because I was so focused on this class, and trying to take it all in as much as I could, um, which was good. I think it was good therapy because it helped me stop because I had been thinking about Rise of Nexus for so long at this point. It was good to get my mind onto something else
I am
that was
listening. I gotta let my dog out of my room really quick.
no worries, man. Yeah, so yeah, so it was and taking that class, I ended up coming with another line of action figures that's a more female oriented or girl, I guess, line of action figures, but or toys. But again, I wasn't really thinking about Rise of Nexus immediately afterwards. I kind of did want to take a break, regroup with the family, spend time with them, give myself some time to just watch TV, play video
Yeah.
games, just do nothing really, kind of just not think about anything. And like I said, it was in the back of I just didn't know when I was going to launch it. And then as soon as this year started, it was like something just kicked in and was like, okay, time to get to work. Like gotta do this. I gotta figure out everything that I did wrong. Kind of how to redo it. Basically, I had to redo it all from scratch. Look at it from a completely different angle. And yeah, it was like almost what six months of that of just racking my brain, every day again. I'm of like, how am I gonna launch this?
And I feel like you would have to, because the last thing you want to do is be like, I mean, that's literally what the definition of insanity is, right? If you just if it doesn't fun, and then you're like, well, let's just relaunch it. Well, wait, what's different?
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
sit back and go, all right, I need to clear my head, which is smart. Let's go spend some time with the family, and then come back to it, because I would assume you were disappointed. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you launch something and it when it doesn't fun, you're like, man, that was great. Like, but to go back to the drawing board and then come back,
Yeah.
it's understandable that, and it's smart. Like you say, you
Yeah.
don't want to be, you don't want to do that whole thing where it's just like, right away, let's just throw it back out there, because people go, what'd you change? Why wasn't this in the original one?
Yeah. It was I mean, yeah, you kind of don't want to give them the same thing, even though Kickstarter gives you an option to just kind of copy and paste, or just grab the stuff from the other ones. But I was like, if I'm gonna redo this, it's gotta be new. It's gotta be much better. And I still like a lot of the ideas that I didn't get to do last time. I just didn't have a chance to. I had the time to do them. Um, so like as far as like a collaboration and a comic book, now I had more time to think about that and I work on the story too for the comic, and like the script, and yeah, just I mean, in the end it was the same amount of work. It's just just a little different.
So when you relaunch it, what did you change? Like what did you change to see a difference? Because I'm looking at it here, and it says funded in 5 hours. So what were the main differences that you changed, and how did you reach out to people once again to say, hey, we're doing this again?
I think one of the so I think the biggest thing that helped was I did okay, so when I launched it last year, I a lot of what I learned was from a book and from a lot of YouTubers online and stuff like that. I spent a year just every day watching whatever latest Kickstarter YouTube video was out, looking for books, going online, just as much research as I could. And I found this book that was a kind of generalized book about Kickstarter, and I went in and I mean, I literally read the book 10 times from beginning to end. Read it, start over again, go back, go over parts where I was like, okay, what is it saying here? Because a lot of it is new language to me. I don't know. I'm not like a web designer. I don't know coding. I don't know all these things, so a lot of it. But one of the things that it mentioned was doing like a special group, like a VIP group for like your biggest fans and your biggest followers. And so I kind of went off of that first campaign. I did a VIP group. So they're on our VIP group is a private group on Facebook. And that's where everybody gets to see all the behind the stuff scene, all the stuff that that nobody gets to see. They see it first there. And that's basically what helped to the last campaign was that VIP group to get it funded. I mean, to get a lot of funding, because we did get a lot of funding those first 2 days. Then after that, it just seemed, whether it was something that was going on in the world or whether it was something that just the Kickstarter wasn't offering, whatever, it's like flatlined after those first few days, and then it never picked back up. It just kind of died. There was some steady flowing, but it wasn't enough. I think I've mentioned before, I think there's stuff like there was that last week of the campaign, there was like an announcement about 100% tariff, and even like there was like the big crypto crash in October of last year, and that's there was just a lot of funky stuff happening, in the world and in the world of finances too. That could have something to do with it. Ultimately, this campaign I focused on what I really wanted to get, and I was really the main character. Seiko was what I wanted to offer. I built the campaign kind of around him. He's a fan favorite too. He's the first character that I designed, I guess. And yeah, I think one of them is making the goal much lower. So I pretty much cut the goal in half, because we only at that point only was asking for the tooling for Seiko. And then, but really, I think the VIP group is really what helps. Like I said, those are the people that are really the biggest fans. The biggest Rise of Nexus fans. And like I said, they get to see a lot of the stuff that nobody else gets to see. They get to hear me rant and I don't know, see a side of me that regular Instagram and everybody else doesn't get to see. So I think maybe they appreciate that too. And I get to ask them questions. Like I get their input a lot of times. A lot of what people they share with me, or they even not the VIP group, just something that somebody says, I'll take it into consideration, and I'll put it into, I'll add it into the line if it makes sense, if it works for everybody. Obviously I want this to go on for as long as it can. I can't be giving free figures away forever, but at least if it helps get us started and get the tooling started, then that's, that'd be great. That we can do a lot. We can do a lot with what we have now, obviously,
Yeah.
but we do so much more with more funding. But
So how many figures have been unlocked so far?
I want to say close to 10, and that includes variants and things. So a lot of the figures have a variant in the story. There's a lot of clones and things of that
Okay.
nature. So yeah, so we're offering the variants of the main characters. So yeah, about 10, I would say, off the top of my head, without looking at the campaign. So yeah, and that's with including the new free Seiko figure.
So Patrick with the W without a W. He says we need Cadaver. Will we get there?
Man, I hope so, dude. I hope so. I mean, she's a fan favorite, so I'm surprised she hasn't unlocked yet, but everybody has a different, everybody's waiting for like a different figure to unlock. So, it's kind of like the backers are playing chicken with each other, So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope she unlocks at least. I mean, obviously I would love the main 10 figures to unlock all the way to Monarch, to have the full team. But yeah, I mean, at least her, that would be amazing. She's, I mean, I could talk about her all day, honestly. She's definitely one of my favorites. I really, put a lot of thought into her, and yeah, man, she'd be awesome. She'd be awesome to unlock. I'm basically, I've been writing issue 1 and 2, but secretly I'm really writing because each issue focuses on a different character. So like first issue focuses on Seiko, and then we go into Sleepwalker, and then by issue 4 we get to Cadaver. And I've been writing Cadaver's issue in my head like every day. I know I should be focusing on issue 1, but I'm so excited about writing her story. You know, I don't know. She's a really cool character. I really think people, aside from just seeing her, I think people would love her backstory too.
And where is? I swear on the first page it told me. Where is that right now with the funding?
So
Here it is, right here.
last I
57
checked, what is it? 50? Okay, yeah. So
57,694.
so I guess we need less than 9,000 to unlock Cadaver.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have 6 days to go.
Yeah.
And there's usually a big uptick at the end. Well,
Yeah.
there's always an uptick, not a big uptick, unless if you're like some of these Star Wars, these Star Wars HasLabs.
Oh yeah.
Now, are any of the characters based on anything other than what's in your mind?
No, I mean, yeah. So when I thought about the line, when I was working on the tabletop game, and I was thinking about the characters and stuff, I was definitely thinking about stuff that I like that doesn't exist in a toy form, or at least in some type of toy thing that I like. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it, like, I'm a huge video game geek, so a lot of it is just based off of stuff that from a video game. I know a lot of video games let you just build your own characters in there, so it's fun to like kind of play around with all these different whatever, bulletproof vests, all sorts of stuff that you can customize your characters with. So a lot of it, not a lot of it, but some of these characters were inspired from just video game stuff. Seiko, which is the first one, he's even though people tell me like they see Snake Plissken, he was really inspired by Billy Kessler from G.I. Joe, son of Cobra Commander.
Oh, really?
That's really what yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, duh, right? You see it, but that's really
so I saw
Snake.
I saw Snake.
Yeah.
I definitely did see Snake.
Yeah.
But now that you said Billy Kessler, and I have been a proponent of why do we not have a Billy figure?
Yeah.
And hopefully in the years coming up, we will definitely get one.
Yeah, I mean, it would be awesome. I mean, there is one, right? There's like there's one from a comic book pack or something like that. But I don't know. I just always liked the idea of the character, and really, wanted to create something that reminded me of that. And then as I started going through, I was like, man, they're never gonna make a toy of this, and they're never gonna make a toy of that. And some of the early characters, at least the first 4, are inspired by other things. And then once I started adding more characters, and I was like, that's when I started, coming up with my own ideas. Like Mamba's inspired by a Danish special forces, guys. Scope was, just some, a lot of people, I know they see Shockwave when they see him. I just thought, it was a cool, neat design when I designed them. But yeah, I'd definitely say he does look like Shockwave. The inspiration comes from all sorts of places. Once the way I built the story too, right now, the characters that we're seeing, they're all part of the Iron Veil collective. So they're all mercenaries. They all work together. They all clock in and clock out together. They're all buddies. And then hopefully down the road, if we can continue this, we can kind of meet the other factions and the other people that live in this world. But yeah, this is what we're offering now, just the Iron Veil team, and yeah, we'll see where this goes.
The skunk is just lurking in the back.
Okay.
He started chasing it.
I'm
away just in time. I'm just
okay. He knows we have a skunk in the back.
Yeah.
So we can't just let the dog out.
Oh yeah.
I could hear him yelling.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, just go get him. Don't come up here and yell at me that he got sprayed by a skunk, because my dog once got sprayed on a Monday night where I just had to literally end the show.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't have all the stuff to clean him, which meant I was chasing around, going to the neighbor's house, getting baking soda, and just trying to. And I could hear him. I'm like, just go grab him. Just go out and grab him and bring him in. He will come in.
Oh man, that sucks.
But it looks like we dodged it. Seriously, you're telling me I hear him yelling. I'm like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
That's good. I couldn't hear him, so that's good.
So, I mean, looking at these, they look really good. And like I said, the card art that you had sent me, it's the same card art, but it's on this nice thick card. It's not a regular card. Hey, buddy, good job not going getting sprayed by a skunk. Proud of you. Now you had mentioned that you've had people come up to you and talk about why would I spend this money when I can go buy a vintage just a vintage GI Joe. Correct?
Yeah. No, I've heard that a few times actually. Yeah.
But again, you're not creating GI Joe. You're doing something completely different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in a sense. I mean, I was thinking of something that really could, these guys could just fit in the background, right? Like on your shelf next to them, like, yeah, it is something else, but also too that would kind of make sense if you're already a GI Joe collector, right?
Yep.
I don't know, because who really, I'm sure GI Joe died at a certain year for everybody, whatever year that was, like where each individual person says, well, GI Joe is 91, that's it, I stopped collecting.
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore. But wouldn't it be cool if they still made the toys that you liked, right? Like if the aesthetic was what you wanted,
And
I don't know.
think that I've talked to Ken and Steve from Delta 17, and it's the same thing. They've created their own line so you can live in that lore.
Yeah.
But if you really want this to work with GI Joe, it's right there to fit in.
Exactly. Yeah. And exactly. Like their stuff is cool because it's like very unique in their own world. But when you see it, it makes sense next to a GI Joe figure. And why would you be mad at more toys? I don't know. I don't. But I get it. Some people, maybe those people aren't real fans either, right? Those aren't real GI Joe fans.
There are a lot of people that they're just GI Joe. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And this is something that, like, Darren here, he's been. Did he just say skunk? Oh shit! Not so. Yeah, he was watching. It's one of those things where, like, we talk about the 6-inch figures and all these people that talk about, like, Hasbro's leaving all this money on the table. Well, are they really? Because there are people that don't want to buy something that Ramen did. They don't want to buy something 3D. They want what Hasbro is giving, and that's great.
And that's good. Yeah.
And I say most of the GI Joe fans are just that. They're GI Joe fans.
Yeah.
It's not all the toy collectors, and the toy collectors are the ones that you're looking at. Because I know plenty of people that have given up on the GI Joe Real American Hero O-ring.
Mm-hmm.
They want new, modern looking O-rings.
Yeah.
They want something different, and that's fully understandable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The figures look really cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, the sculptor, our engineer, is amazing. He did an incredible job translating. When I was comparing what he did to what I sent him, I don't know what I mean. He like must have traced right over what I did. But and then he put his own touch to them too. I'm really happy with the designs, and everybody who's held one, is happy with them. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to get these into production as soon as possible, but obviously do it right and do it, but try to avoid as many mistakes as many
And
delays.
that's the biggest thing, doing it right. People, myself included, waited on that Robo Skull.
Hmm.
And when I got the Robo Skull, I was so impressed with it.
Yeah.
And knowing that you had to wait, but it was done properly rather than, well, you know what, we need to just get this out
Yeah.
so people are happy that they got their thing that they backed 2 years ago. Well, I would rather wait. And I said the same thing about the HasLabs, right? Like, hey, get it right rather than trying to get something out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what we all want. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to wait, a year and a half and then it's crappy. I'd rather wait 2 years and it be in, good shape. Now,
Agreed.
as time goes on and I get older, I might not feel the same way because
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll still be around.
Yeah. Yeah. You can die any moment now. Yeah.
But
That's true.
all of these look really good. And as I was looking at some of them here, like, you're absolutely right. Like, they would fit perfectly in with G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that I don't think you're ever going to get. And now that you said Billy Kessler, I'm like, okay, I might finally get that O-ring Billy. And I know that when Super 7 makes one, it's going to suck. Sorry, did I say
Yeah.
that out loud?
I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I might still get it. I mean, I know there's another O-ring company that's working on some type of a Billy, like a nod to Billy,
Oh,
and
really?
I've seen it. It looks really cool. But yeah, I mean, I want to see as many Billies as I can, I guess. I don't
It's a figure I don't understand why, why we haven't seen. And I've said that numerous times. And I mean, I can understand why we don't get it in O-ring form now, but
Yeah.
like, why has this figure not been announced somewhere in the classified scale?
And why are so many people obsessed with it too? Is it because we haven't gotten like a true figure? Is that why so many people want? I don't know. I don't know.
Patrick says Carson posted pictures this week of receiving Wave 2. Not sure when it actually shipping, but soon. The review, I will tell you this, the review of Ratello will be out tomorrow morning.
Nice.
The other three, I think, I didn't back originally, so I won't get till later on. But I got home today and there was a box, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting anything.
That's the
And then
best.
I was super excited that I got something I wasn't expecting.
It's a great feeling. Yeah.
But here is the link. So please click it. Go check it out. See what's there. What ideas? Can you talk about ideas that you have after this? Because clearly it's funded, and if all goes well, we'll have some figures in a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
Are we looking like? Do you have more figures in mind?
Yeah, I have more characters. Definitely at least 3 more factions of characters, and like a lot of people have asked for a vehicle. A lot of even when I listen to other toy companies, like their fans ask for vehicles. A lot of people love vehicles. I don't know if a vehicle necessarily makes sense in the world that I'm creating, at least not right now. I would love to do a playset though. A playset would be
Okay.
would be right up, like would be perfect for what we got here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as far as like other figures and other characters, yes, because the world of Rise of Nexus takes place. What happens is basically your characters from present day are frozen in time, and they wake up like 150 years in the future, so they are now in this future world with all these different characters. So the way I introduced it, I wanted to introduce it like, this is like your mercenary, your GI Joes, right, type of team. And then later, because there's really no good guy or bad guy in this world, what happens in the Rise of Nexus world is like, it's imagine GI Joe being in prison and being forced to fight each other to the death. So Snake Eyes versus Duke, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy now, right? Who are you rooting for? Yeah. Yeah. but that's kind of what I'm doing here. So you know, uh, like I said, these guys that were once friends are now possibly hate each other, or trying to figure out a way to get out of the arena.
Which is, I think, what real life would be. I hate to say it, but that's why I always like The Walking Dead. I know
Uh-huh.
people started hating it. I was like,
Yeah.
you would think that in an apocalyptic world, everyone would work together. But
Yeah.
let's be honest. We see how the real world is. That is not what we do.
Yeah.
And I mean, we as a human society, you start pitting each other against each other and you start trying to take over. That's unfortunately how it is. And it's kind of what you're explaining with this.
And in a little bit, yeah. I mean, their the consequences that they're in are like the world that they're in. They don't really have a choice, right? It's all for entertainment. There's this big powerful being that is basically um, doesn't let them leave. They can't go anywhere, and everybody in there, all of humanity that's still alive, is in there. Um, and that's really the goal is for them is either to kill each other or to find the way out. And it's all going to be about who actually comes together, or um, I will say though, there's a lot, with all natural disasters and things like that, there is a time when people do come together, especially like even like with the earthquakes in Venezuela, and
Yeah.
even surviving through Hurricane Andrew in Miami in the 90s. You really saw a lot of people just come out of nowhere, out of nowhere, and just try to help out and help each other. I think it's different when it's like when you don't have a choice about, survival isn't now a choice anymore, like now it's just like, so that's kind of what I love about the story. It's it's going to go to places that, nobody really goes anymore. And, it is inspired by all the things that I love from a lot of like American Gladiators and the Running Man and all that.
The Running Man was the one that I was thinking. I was like, you
I
got
was
some Running Man vibes here.
I do definitely. I mean, I remember seeing that movie very young. It definitely, it's kind of, I think what again, my love for like science fiction too, and a lot of these like post-apocalyptic kind of these worlds that are that you're kind of forced to, even like the Matrix is this world that you wake up in one day and you're like, what is happening, and that's kind of what Rise of Nexus is. And even when you open up the comic and you kind of get through the whole first issue, you're going to be as lost as Seiko is, in the story, because he's just waking up in this world, and it's like everything he knew is now gone. There's nobody that he can really turn to or go to kind of help him and tell him like, hey, this is what you got to do. So that's kind of what I love about this whole story.
So with the construction of the action figures, is there a company that you're working with? Because I know there's different O-ring companies. We know like Skeletron works with call sign Longbow, with how they create theirs. They also work with, for their 4-inch figures, they work with Marauder. Is there anyone that you're working with kind of using their design, or is yours all separate?
No, yeah, it's all our original book, our own original design as far as the internals and everything, the construction. We have like the swivel wrists, the pop off heads. Not that other lines don't have that. It's just the way we do it is a little different. We did find out in this process that our heads match the ball, the neck ball on Legends of the Hidden Force.
Okay, 'cause I saw that in there when I was scrolling through, and I was wondering if maybe you were working with them.
Yeah, out of curiosity, it was just like a thing like, can this be possible? Because they also had the pop off head thing, and it happens to be that that's the same size, just that their neck, I believe their neck is longer than our neck. Our neck is a little shorter, so they might look like a little weird. And so anyways, in this we spoke about doing a collaboration, or I brought it up to them and they were super cool about it. So we're doing a Seiko figure with on a Legends of the Hidden Force body. And I think if it were to fun, if we ever do it down the road, it would probably include both the necks, like their neck and our neck, to
Okay.
make it. But yeah, we
So will these necks? Can you pop them off and put them on an O-ring? Because I know it's heavy armor toys.
Mhm.
Like their heads also pop off, but they made it so those necks, basically for shipwreck, will pop
Uh-huh.
on a shipwreck, and then
Yeah.
you can have different colored, or not different colored, but different shipwreck heads.
Yeah, it should. The same. It's the same type of construction,
Okay.
because an O-ring Joe is the head is attached to the neck. This
Yeah,
just that piece. Yeah, it's a separate piece. But yeah, you should be able to bring that whole neck somewhere else if you want.
that's cool because I mean I did that with like one shipwreck. I didn't realize that it was a head and not like the whole piece, or else I would have ordered some extra necks so I could give my shipwreck some different head sculpts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was always my biggest issue having 9 shipwrecks for the flag when I was a kid, was that they all
Yes.
had the exact, and
Mm.
he has such a distinct face, but that was
Yeah.
the only army builder I ever had, only
Oh,
due to the fact that my dad, he was in the Navy and he said you need to have sailors.
of course. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Matthew's asking, the question is the facility, are they using the same factory as some others?
Yes, yes. So we are using the same facility as Legends of the Hidden Force, Strike Force Alpha, and Heavy Armor Toys, basically.
Okay.
I don't know if they make that public. I'm sorry. I apologize to them. But yeah, we're using those.
I don't think that, I mean, that shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, Skeletron, I know, they switched their factory.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, at least one of their factories. I believe
yeah.
they switched, and I know Carson from call sign, or not call sign, Operation Recall. I believe he switched the same factory that Delta 17 was having theirs made,
Okay,
because they were
okay.
having such a hard time in the same factory as call sign Longbow.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And we know that's been an issue. I mean, Troy and his partner John, and Troy more than anyone. Troy more than John, just because he's out more.
Is that more?
He's
Yeah,
talked about it, and it's
yeah.
like, hey, it's not that we don't want to get these figures. This is what the factory is, and you can only do so much,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And Skeletron has really helped with their tooling and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I shouldn't say that, but you can look at the Skeletron O-rings and be like, that's the ghost figure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've spoken to Troy, and I've spoken to all the Overwing lines. Obviously, I reached out to everybody, and especially at Joe Fest, meeting them. Um, it's cool hearing what went right and what went wrong. Obviously, that helped me a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of, in a sense, it's like, hey, it's not fair because I kind of learned where everybody else went wrong. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to experience delays or anything, but with in gathering all that information, I can actually say like, hey, okay, we don't have to be in such a rush to do everything all at once. We don't have to, we can take our time, but the thing that was worrying me the most was finding a project manager, because even though I could possibly, I mean, I work in manufacturing, I work in engineering, I could work with the factory, but having somebody who's been in the toy space specifically is what was my biggest concern. And it's kind of the last piece of the puzzle I found at Joe Fest, which is Jason Schremeyer, who works on Strike Force Alpha, who created Strike Force Alpha with Matt LaCroix. He's going to be helping us with the project management and the facility and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that because it's going to give me a break from things. It's going to let me go back and play some video games and hang out with the family on the couch. But again, he's got 20 years of experience doing this sort of stuff, and he was able to ship Strike Force Alpha already, and like I said, that's kind of the part that I've been most excited about, because anybody can create a line and anybody can do all these things or whatever, but once it comes down to the factory, like who's to say, right? You're speaking a different language, it's a whole different thing, they're on a different time schedule.
Yeah, you can't just go over there and you can't just show up at a at the factory and be like, well, let me see the prototype here
Yeah,
and be
yeah,
like, wait, this needs they gotta ship it out to
yeah,
you.
oh,
Then
yeah,
and again, like we talked to Lenny, the former designer of Classified. He was telling us all kinds of stuff, and a lot of stuff that I've heard, not
yeah,
from him, but from talking to other people that have worked
yeah,
with stuff. Um, a lot of stuff that you hear, but no one ever they either don't hear it or they're not really paying attention because they're not that interested in it.
yeah,
If you wanted to sit down, not you, but in general, like if someone was actually talking about the process, I find the process of how a figure comes to light from the point that they
mhm.
imagine it, they draw it, they design it, they ship it. I find that,
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's just learning. I could probably watch something on the designing of a car, and
yeah,
not that I'm ever going to design a car, but just hearing all the process that goes into it, and there's
mm,
so many things that can go wrong, and only one thing has to go right to make it work.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and again, you put together some really nice figures, and I think one of the things you talked about vehicles. I think one of the things that's very special about the O-ring is that there are so many vehicles at an affordable price on eBay, and some you might have to clean up, but I have one of those fun school vamps.
oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
bought the police officer one. Now, not too long ago, and when I mean maybe 5 years ago, they were like $10 on eBay.
Oh, man.
And I bought. There was a fire one. I bought the police officer one, and there was also like a race car one. And if you take the sticker off the back, you could put the stinger or the vamp, you know,
Yeah,
the vamp stuff on the back.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of buying GI Joe's visiting Venezuela, like like again, stuff that we couldn't find here because it was like, it was stuff they were getting later, like it was like Mexican GI Joe stuff, like the thrash, like the dread, like the Thunder Machine, because by the time, I had so many vehicles. There's just some vehicles that I missed out. So like later on, getting to see the Thunder Machine and buying it like was pretty cool. Even though it was cheaper plastic, like than what we got here. But yeah, I mean, I love vehicles, and that's kind of what I loved about GI Joe 2 was about just that you'd get a vehicle in it, but you could fit like multiple guys on it. It wasn't like you
yeah,
know you know I don't know. I mean, like, I want to do a vehicle, but again, it just right now it doesn't make sense for this story. But I would love a playset. I think a playset would be super cool. Um, yeah, playset. I mean,
I think a playset that tells your story,
yeah,
but also can be used for
for
a
other,
real American hero,
yeah,
for Delta 17,
yeah,
for stuff like that, where you're like, hey, this is our story. But if you look at it this way, this works for a Cobra Arena. It
yeah,
works for a G.I. Joe back, like
right.
that's how it should be.
And that's kind of the idea. Is I want to build some type of like arena, like a Coliseum arena type playset. Uh, I don't know. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. I don't know yet. But um that's kind of because it's the focus is on the story, obviously.
Yeah. Let's
So,
get these figures out first.
yeah, let's get these first. Yeah, yes. That's why I haven't really thought about it much because I just want to get these figures first, and
Yeah, I
then
mean, you got to be thinking down the road, but at the same time,
yeah,
it's like I have to be realistic.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I have to be realistic and go, hey, let's get these figures first done. Let's get to the end of the Kickstarter, get
yeah,
all the tooling started. I would assume it's not like I said before when it funded in like 8 hours,
oh yeah,
Hasbro could easily go, all right, let's get the tooling done because this thing is clearly going to make it. We don't need to wait to the end of the 45 days. We know that it's going to hit the funding, right?
yeah,
Um, and we found out a lot of stuff about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Found
yeah,
out a lot of stuff. stuff that I didn't realize that I was convinced, but let's just say that Cobra Commander was not supposed to come with the hiss.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yes.
why that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
it
yeah.
was drawn. It was
Ah,
done that weekend.
sorry. Let me get my charger here. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I get it. I mean, working in like I said, in engineering, and I work at a firearms manufacturer, so we make guns, and um things happen all the time. Where you think something's gonna release and it doesn't,
Yeah.
or the vendor doesn't ship a part or whatever, it's how it goes.
Nope, understandable.
Yeah.
But anyway, all I want to set someone in the description. There is a link to the Rise for Nexus, the Kickstarter, and also your Instagram. And if you guys are into again the O-ring, or hey, you just want to let's just back one figure. It's already hit its funding, so you're going to get a figure.
You
Yeah,
actually get, if you fund one figure, you actually get two figures. So yeah.
And maybe you get a female figure, and then you could do what we did as kids. Okay, we don't want to talk about what some of us did with the female figures as kids.
They would go to the movies, man. That's what they would do.
Oh, is that what they did? They went to the movies.
They just went to the movies, yeah. They went to the movies.
They just held hands.
They just held hands, yeah. What else do you do at 8? You go to the movies, man. Yeah.
We were talking about it the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Scarlet, Lady J, the Baroness, they pretty much did everything with the with the other male figures.
Yeah, there's just like, what do you do?
We didn't even know what that we were talking about either. That was the worst thing.
Oh yeah, no clue. Yeah. Yeah. They definitely went to the movies, yeah.
I like that term.
Yeah.
Carlos, I want to say thank you very much. I wish nothing but success for you.
Thank you, man.
I hope to see you at Assembly Required. Like I said, I made the final decision yesterday, booked the room. Myself, my moderator, Ed, he will be going also. Ken from Toy Connections.
Okay,
and
cool.
Wilhelm, they're going to be going, obviously, Skeletron, all of them. Are you planning on being at Joe Fest next year?
Yeah, for sure. I already put in my application for next year. I'm just waiting to hear back because this year I was upstairs. I'm trying to see if I could get down at the bottom. So
you weren't in a bad spot where you were at, but
yeah.
I think the main floor, there's no doubt that's where you want to be.
Yeah. I wouldn't have gone upstairs. if I didn't have a booth upstairs, I probably wouldn't have gone upstairs.
Well, because it's open now, people walk up there.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like
it's good that they have the like the panels and stuff like that, so people kind of are kind of forced to walk up there anyways. So if you don't know there's something up there, you'd be like, oh, cool. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather be downstairs. That's just me.
Yeah. The biggest problem is you can't make more room than what there already is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you don't want to. I personally, I don't think you want to be in the front, but I also, I get a press pass, and that first year in 24 that we went, we didn't even know that there were vendors in the front because we never went in where the pores go. Where the commoners go. Those common people.
Yeah.
I see them and I'm like, oh, so awful to be you.
Yeah.
But listen, to all the pores and the commoners that have to wait in the front, I understand what it's like after going to Disney and having to wait to go on a small and quickly, I guess before we're about to wrap it up here.
Here comes the money. Here we go.
Maybe
money talk. Here comes the money.
Patrick, Strawco with the $5 super chat say, thank you both. Already back, but these conversations are great. Have a great night, y'all. Thank you very much. It's definitely appreciated. Carlos, thank you. Please stick around till after the credits. I want to chat with you a little bit. And again, I'm going to push this thing for the next, well, when I'm on the next couple of days. I want to push it. I know it's already funded, but again, you were great to send that out to me originally. I definitely do appreciate it. My house is getting smaller and smaller. My daughter said the house isn't getting smaller, you're getting more toys. I disagree. And it's getting smaller.
It's the house. It happens. It's a thing.
The house is getting smaller. I come home and I'm like, did you lose some weight?
Yeah. They go up in value, but the square footage shrinks over time. Yeah.
Yes, tremendously. So anyway, Carlos, thank you very much. Everyone in the description are links to everything. Go over, back it, make this thing successful. Let's get a second wave of figures because looking at these, again, they really do fit the aesthetic of the original G.I. Joe that they could fit, or they can just live on their own, which is perfectly fine. I have no issues with that. So, Carlos, thank you. And I will talk to you shortly. Everyone else, I will be back tomorrow for Punk's Pit. I am doing it, Matthew. I'm surprised you haven't asked me yet. For channel members only. So, everyone, it's not there. I will see you on Monday. Take care.